All right, welcome guys to our second to last week of EGL League of Legends Circuit. This week it is Corey Doge back again, and this week I'm joined with the Bard God. If you want to go
Super Thig,
Super
Tommy,
FN support. You know he's been killing it. He's a Bard God. I'm still having nightmares of his Bard play a couple weeks back, and not sure why they don't pick it more. And other teams aren't picking it.
They're trying though.
They're trying.
Yeah.
Okay, they took a note out of your book. So
yeah, we just saw Mega Man's team trying to play it bot lane just now.
How did it look?
It's fine.
But yeah, so this week we have EGL versus PTC, and it's kind of like a second, third place battle. The second, third place team. I'm not sure what all needs to happen. I'm pretty sure EGL won their first matchup.
Yep.
So PTC needs to win, and then other records will come down to it.
So if PTC wins, EGL is going to need to beat FN next week to make it a tiebreaker.
Gotcha.
But if
because they dropped last week to THE.
But I think if EGL wins, they can still lose to us, and then they have the tiebreaker
because they beat head-to-head.
They beat 2-0 against PTC. So
it's a very important game this week.
This is the one to watch.
Yeah. So hopefully, and after last week, we just got done talking about how exciting of a matchup we had last week. Lots of kills, lots of action, lots of fighting. That's how we prefer it. So, what do you think? You did scrim against PTC this past week. Do you think it's going to be a high action game?
PTC has been playing really well. So they actually beat us in the scrims.
So, okay. So PTC taking down FN. Mm-hmm. That's a warning sign for EGL. Yeah, I don't know if that's
it's happened a couple times in scrims, but PTC is looking really good.
Good.
So.
And with the meta kind of changing, we're getting a little bit more variety in the bot lane. Variety from what we had played. We did know PTC is a big Aphelios team. Mm-hmm. That was kind of their main AD carry. But Senna we saw a little bit in their last match, and then we mentioned the Caitlyn. Very high priority for a lot of these AD carries. Yep. She's just so strong in lane. She's got that massive attack range, good damage. Scales pretty well. Her mid game is kind of iffy, but her late game is right on par with all the other AD carries.
Yeah, she has one of those weird. She's got the weirdest power curve where she's like the best AD carry early, and then she's like one of the worst in the mid game. And then once she gets back to like 3.5, 4 items, she's strong
online.
again.
Yeah, and it's important to play around that and keep that kind of in mind if you're building a comp around it, because you don't want to be forcing these plays in the mid game where other AD carries really hit their 2 item spikes, and that's kind of where they turn on. Where Caitlyn turns on at 1, and then at, like you said, 3 or 4 back onto being like a hyper carry. I still think Aphelios is good.
Yep.
I still don't know really how he works. I'm not gonna lie. He's very confusing.
Right.
So
I'll tell you how it goes if we see it. Yep.
But I still think he should be a priority pick for PTC or ban.
Yeah.
Just because he brings a lot to the team.
It should be banned just because how strong it is, and I feel like not a lot of people do know how he works.
Yeah.
Even still.
Yeah, he's hard to play against just because you rarely see someone who knows how to pilot it. Like even if you see it in solo queue, it's kind of like hit or miss if they actually play it, or they're like, oh, this guy's Mr. 200 years. I'm just going to lock it in. Hopefully it's going to look nice and flashy. But yeah, and you said scrims are going okay. Prepping for the finals since you guys got it locked in. Are you guys going to be trying anything new next week, or getting some details leaking for whoever plays later?
I have a hot counter pick to Callista AD carry.
Okay.
You just pick Nasus support, Max Wither. It's done. Callista can't do anything.
Hot take right there. I've not heard of that one
I don't get to practice it very much, though, because no one plays Callista in solo queue.
That's true. Maybe some top laners, keep that in mind. If you ever see Callista top come back.
Just max the Wither. She can't move, can't attack, and it's tragic.
And you just run her down.
Yeah.
That plus 12 now is what it is. So, yeah, Callista is one of those AD carries who we've seen a lot in pro play that hasn't really translated. I know she's very hard to play.
Yeah.
And she does have a very weird power spike, similar to Caitlyn, where it's like she's OP level 1, then her first item. Yeah. Second item.
She's really lane dominant.
Yep.
Like, you need to snowball her and then carry that. You need to be ahead in gold for the whole game, otherwise you're just gonna fall off.
Yeah, and she's got that short attack range, but she is so good at kiting. But if she gets focused, she kind of feels useless. Like, she's kind of like the ADC in 2020 embodied in a champion, where she really can't do much. But you do get to see the flashy plays, and her like objective securing is so strong. That's why I thought she would be a much higher priority pick, because we've seen dragons kind of be the win con for a lot of teams, getting to that 4 dragon, or even just threatening it and forcing your opponent into a bad situation where they have to come and fight you, and you can kind of dictate the pace of play then.
Yeah,
it's so strong. So
I do think Deadpool was trying to play it in some solo queue games. I don't know if he's going to pull it out. I don't know how comfortable he feels, but
yeah, and that's one champion you want to be comfortable on, because even in like pro play, you see like there's some Callisto players and there's some that don't play her, and that's one you don't want to force because you look really bad if you like position or overstep. It's AD carry where it really like is noticeable if you overstep or dash in once and then you just get one shot and it's like, oh, well, she's dead. So don't tell them about Pantheon Talia. Oh, my bad. That's I like that combo. It was around a little bit, year and a half ago. LCK played it in like the finals 3 games in a row and lost all 3 games. I like it more in a mid jungle combo than bot lane, but
it works.
It's fun.
It's kind of a cheese lane. It's not the greatest, but it still works fine.
And with Senna being kind of a pick by PTC, do you like, as a support player, do you like when your AD carry plays Senna so you get the freedom of playing like a Wukong or a Pantheon or something where you can farm and get some kills?
Unfortunately, that's not really how people play the Senna anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
You get to farm.
But it was for a little bit. Were you like hoping people would lock in Senna and say you farm?
When I was trying with Unlimited Ninja, we did try me playing Senna and him farming with Set.
Okay.
Worked pretty well. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, no, it's a good combo, and like the support gets to play the game then, because a lot of times people say support like, oh, you don't really get to play the game, which it's not like that anymore. Like in season 3, season 4, it was a lot more. Now supports are like OP. They like carry team fights, and you can do a lot. There's a lot more agency on the support role. But Senna was a really cool one because you could be like the late game carry without farming, and you could empower someone else to like farm in the bottom lane. I always thought that was a cool, like, unique way of playing bot lane.
Yeah, it's kind of the thing with Senna support is like it doesn't work so well with another AD carry because like you have no peel.
Yep.
Where you just do need like a tanky. You need a tank in that bot lane.
Yep.
So it's like,
even with enchanters, like it's not the best. You kind of need a certain partner with her.
Because the AD carry, or because as an AD carry she heals someone, you just want someone who's willing to just take the damage.
Just go in and I really don't. I really like playing Senna, but I absolutely hate playing against her because she's just so obnoxious.
It is. Yeah, it's pretty hard to kill her too.
Yeah, and the mist and all that stuff is super annoying. So it looks like we got EGL going to be on blue side, and we did talk about the Caitlyn being kind of a #1 priority pick on this patch. Is there any other picks that Yone is to say we're not going to have Yone enabled, right? 2 weeks until we can play that. But Lilia.
Yep, Lilia's allowed.
But she's kind of bad.
Yeah. I mean, we're picking it in LCS, so who knows? Maybe it's good. I don't know.
I know our solo queue win rate was sitting at a healthy 38% for a long time there.
Those are always the good ones.
Yeah.
That's how you know the champion's good.
Yeah, that's when you expect like the quadruple buff the next patch, and then they're finally OP.
Yeah.
But I don't think we'll see it coming out. It's very niche pick where it's like an AP that does no damage and isn't tanky that just runs around. She's really fun to play because you can just sprint around, but I would not recommend it until she gets some buffs or like a good build comes out, because that's what a lot of champions need, is like find those items that synergize really well. Like Leandri's is very strong on her because of her passive procs it, but other than that, it's like people are going Dead Man. Some people are going Cinder Hulk.
Yeah, I think if you just do go tank, you probably want to get the Leandres first, but then if you just build full tank, then you're just so destructive running around, and you're just never going to die.
You hope people focus you,
yeah,
and then you can like weave in and out. And that's kind of like I like Singed. So it's very similar where you're like in and out, dodging in and out, doing some damage. But I've actually been branching out. All my friends flame me for playing Singed, so I haven't played it for like a week or two. I might have to.
Are you getting like Darius practicing? Or
no,
Shen?
No. Renekton. I've been playing a lot of Renekton.
It's a pretty fun one too.
Whether it's good or bad, I don't know. But Renekton is a very good blind pick. He's kind of like the S tier of top laners right now. As long as you don't get laned against Quinn.
We could also see it mid lane today because Mega Man did pull out Yasuo in one of our scrims. And Renekton is a very big counter to that in the mid lane.
You just kind of walk at him and say, okay, if you want to farm, you got to fight me, and you're not going to win, because he's very strong in the Yasuo's 1v1 tournament. Renekton actually was the champion that won pretty much all. I think TF played it, and he won. He ended up winning the whole tournament, but he won like every game with Renekton just because he's so dominant, and there's very little, like he struggles into range, but mainly just Quinn, because she can just vault and then he's useless.
Yeah.
But he is very good blind pick, and with Mega Man opting towards the Yasuo mid, he could be looking for other AD mids, and Renekton kind of fills that early game snowball, get that mid prile, move down into Dragon, get 3 Dragon lead, and sure, he falls off late game, but if you have a 3 Dragon lead, usually you can make it work. So.
And Renekton is also one of Vindy's most played champions. And I have seen him play it in the bot lane before, so who knows? Maybe we'll see a first pick Renekton today. But
yeah, and that would be cool. He's a champion that enables fighting, and I like action. So and we had no lack of that last week, so I expect EGL to keep that kind of pressure, that play style up, and really just make it happen. So
but I do expect to see Tristana also play it again this week, because I know Cryptic's been playing it a lot. Vindy played it last week. It just got a really big buff on his E, where it now scales off the crit chance.
Even in the mid lane, Tristana, and we've seen the top lane at some point. I know Vindy was really high on Tristana being a Caitlyn counter. So Caitlyn kind of being his fallback option. That's one of his really strong. But if it does get taken away, he has an answer to it, and it's not going to be something that hits the ban. So Caitlyn definitely could see the bans, but Tristana is always available, and in the late game she kind of fills that same role where she's super long range at level 18. Takes her a while to get there, but with rapid fire, takes those turrets, really opens up the game.
And you can really I think Tristana's biggest strength is getting an early advantage with like maybe at level 3 you jump in with a like Leona Nautilus character, get a kill, and then snowball that, get your towers. And you can really just snowball that lead really quickly and get to that late game. Yeah,
once you get that lead, you can just jump in. As long as there's no junglers or anything, you can really just enforce 2v2s by jumping in. You have that gap closers that a lot of AD carries don't have. They have hard time once they get ahead putting it to use. Like you'll see a Caitlyn get ahead and they just like sit back and auto. You really like when Tristana jumps in and says, all right, we're going to fight when I want to fight. And that's something that like a Vayne or a Lucian also has that, but they're not as strong. Lucian did get buffed on this patch, did he not?
He did get buffed as well, yes.
Yeah, so a lot of it marksman, and the ones that the flashier marksman for, we got the finals coming up here. They want to see some action. They want to see some excitement. So buff those champions. Akali got buffed as well. So, the female Zed is some of my friends call her, because she's a lot more flashy. Like she looks cooler when she does her combos, where Zed kind of just stands there and pops someone. So going to be getting in Champ Select in just 2 minutes here. I'm trying to think of what really strong counter picks are on this patch, but it's probably just the same. If they do go for that Renekton, you got the Quinn. Megan Fox. He seems like a pretty flexible player. So
we'll probably see like Set, Volibear, Sejuani, or Jarvan in the jungle.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see Graves, but I don't know if these guys play Graves at all.
Yeah, after last week seeing Graves, he did not have the impact that we were kind of hoping for. But those big juggernaut, almost Volibear, Set, Sejuani junglers are always, they're always useful. They can kind of be more of a passive jungler. We talked about last week, a lot of the junglers don't feel the agency or don't have the confidence and maybe to go and counter jungle if they do get a counter pick, where the Graves comes into something where they can never 1v1 you, even if especially if you take the Ignite on Graves, you can kind of take the fight to them and be like, we can at least try for steals. You kind of be a battle ward, and that's a good way of finding vision and stuff like that, and that's something I look forward to seeing.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people, when they take the Ignite, try to play a little bit, I think, instead of playing more aggressive because you have the Ignite, you play a little bit more passive because they're like, I don't want to get caught out without Flash.
Yeah. So if you get caught, then you look really dumb because you don't have Flash. You have Ignite. You ignite them when you're dying, and it's like, oh.
But the thing with Graves, though, is you have like a million dashes with your E.
And you're tanky. You do a crap ton of damage early. I think the early game Graves is very good, and maybe that's something that after last week we saw it not be too successful, could be like not banned or something, and someone had been practicing it. And you really want to see top and mid prio with Graves as well. And Malphite ban coming out here.
I did say they were doing a Yasuo comp the other day, so I guess they're just going to straight up
get
go
rid
away
of
with
it.
the Malphite.
Then we see the Swain and Aphelios. Those are the two main carries for both teams for their 80 carries. Vindy being Swain, which is an AP carry, but very strong after his buffs. He just gets kind of out of control.
The Ezreal just being like a really safe lane that you like. They clearly want to play through bot side right now, so they're like.
Yeah, and we saw Ezreal Bard being like the strong combo because Bard's so strong early game, and then Ezreal like is strong level 1, but then once he gets his tier, he kind of falls off a little bit until he finishes those items. And then Senna coming off as well, so kind of what we were talking about. The fasting Senna, like you mentioned earlier, kind of going to the wayside for farming Senna.
Yeah, we've got 5 bot lane bans here, so both teams trying to get through this bot side a lead from this bot side, and so
yeah, we'll see if the junglers follow. And the first pick Cho'Gath, so really prioritizing Cho'Gath. That's a pick that doesn't usually, but it's pretty safe in the top lane.
It's also a flex pick.
Yep,
can go mid.
Can go mid, especially into something like a Yasuo or like a Zed. You see Cho'Gath just kind of go AP and just like press R on them, and like all their health goes away. So usually in the top lane though, and it's pretty safe. There's not really a huge Cho'Gath counter or anything, but then we see Syndra coming in, and Syndra's kind of like the premier mid laner. Even after getting nerfed like 2 or 3 patches in a row, just really the control mage that can one-shot someone if she gets ahead, can really just provide so much and really controls mid lane. So
yeah, you could also put this Cho'Gath into the Syndra because he's going to be getting all that health that he won't die from all these Syndra ults.
Yeah, he won't get one shot, and he'll just be able to itemize like a single MR item, and then he's kind of safe to push and play as he wants to. And then Hecarim, another jungler that got buffed on this patch,
could also be a flex.
Yeah,
could also
could go top lane. And I thought he was actually really good in the top lane. We saw him in some high MMR games getting played and having a pretty solid win rate. Being that bruiser that can really get on the roam and take, and he's another champion that doesn't need.
I was just gonna say they could probably pick the Tristana here, keep all this flex. They have no one knows where any of these champions are going right now.
Yeah, it could be mid Trist, top Trist with Hecarim mid. Even Hecarim mid we've seen played in some places. So probably top jungle, most likely jungle I would assume. And then if I had to guess, I would say Trist in the bot lane. But we see the Shen coming out just in case that is Trist top. Shen seems like a pretty good answer, being able to block his autos, even though he's going to have no fun when that W's on cooldown.
Yeah. I feel like the Tristana matchup into the Syndra would also be pretty good. If you can get that lane snowballing, Syndra's going to have a really hard time surviving when you jump onto her.
Yeah, and he picks up a Hex Drinker first item, and then, that 100-0 pressure really goes down to a much smaller percentage. You really have to eat like 3 Qs and then take a full ultimate, and then we see a Zir coming out. So they are assuming it's going to be 80 carry Trist. Or no, that's on the other
80
side.
80 carry Syndra. That's a little bit of a weird ban.
Yeah, that's an interesting ban because they need AD on that side. So if they pick Azir, they would be very AP heavy.
Yeah.
With just Jarvan bringing the AD damage. So,
I mean, Shen does do a deceptive amount of damage, but it's still not enough for a team fight.
And it's somewhat magic damage as well. So they did have the full AP, and they're really going all in on this being Syndra bot. So interesting.
The thing with this though is like even if it was a Syndra bot, now at this point they're just gonna flex it mid lane.
Yeah, now they just pretty much said we're not gonna, and saving counter pick for AD carry, which is very interesting. Not a traditional pick. You usually want to see that in a solo lane. So even with that, they could. I mean, Syndra could still flex, and they could pick an AD mid if the Trist is shown to be mid here.
Yeah.
And then they can really get a good matchup. But like you said, I think the mid lane Syndra Trist is a pretty even skill matchup. It's not like a hard counter or anything like that.
Well, with the Alistar pickup, maybe it is Yasuo game that they're going to go for with the Jarvan and the Alistar.
Yeah, would that possibly be Yasuo AD carry, or would it just go into the mid lane and then Syndra fulfill that AP damage?
It'd probably be the Yasuo mid. But Yasuo Alistar is a really good lane for the bot lane too. So
I just am not sure if Deadpool plays it or if he would just be on the Syndra and then go to the mid lane because that is a secondary role. And then so Sylas coming through, so it is going to be Trist AD carry. Probably Sylas mid, Hecarim jungle, Cho'Gath top.
Could be Sylas top with the Cho'Gath mid.
True, and I guess we'll have to see what comes in here. Assuming an AD champion. If not, it could be very tough to get through this Cho'Gath and Hecarim.
It could be Ashe here or Yasuo. Those are probably the two.
Or Lucian,
I guess they're giving the
and that
Lucian
is also a flex pick. That could go mid if they really wanted the matchup with Syndra in the bot lane. It's kind of like a comfort pick at this point. And see everyone bouncing around. Cho'Gath sitting in the mid lane, like you mentioned, into that Syndra. Just really looking to not get bullied. And then Sylas into Shen is a very cool matchup because you can take his ult and then match it.
Yep. You can interrupt his ult and then take yours yourself.
See, yeah, we're going to the bot lane. Yeah, that's a really cool matchup. And we had always seen like Akali into the Shen because she could like backflip and then fly all the way across the map.
All the way back too.
So that was always a cool, but Sylas does it just better because he brings the shields. So I think both these drafts are pretty even. The one pick that I'm not nervous, but is going to be the Cho'Gath. That's something we don't really see, but I think if it's played correctly, the silence is just such a broken ability, and to have that on an AoE. And I also really like Hecarim on this patch specifically. His E getting that extra 25% movement speed buff for the last second. You can do like ridiculous amount of damage if you time that correctly and have a lot of experience playing on the Hecarim.
He's probably going to run Ignite or Ghost. Probably Ignite, try to get an early lead. But the Cho'Gath is probably going to be running the Glacial Augment, and he's going to get Spooky Ghosts. And
hose.
Yep, Super Soaker.
Yeah, Super Soaker. The one thing that spooks me is talking about Spooky Ghosts. Jarvan into Hecarim is a very good matchup because he can just put him in the Cataclysm, and if he doesn't take that flash, he only has one way out, and that's with his ultimate. So
he can get over the wall with his E2.
Yeah, if he hits someone right next to it, yeah. So he shouldn't be able to, but it can happen. But that's just kind of like a soft counter. Obviously, he can just sit in there and duel Jarvan. And I'm assuming Hecarim's going to be taking the Conqueror. Predator is going to be his other option. Conqueror is just so much better in extended fights. And looking against this team, there is only the one-shot potential from Syndra. So I think the extended team fight build would be much more suitable for the draft. If you're into like some big, like a Jhin or something like that, where you could just go 100-0. Predator is a lot better, but in this team comp, I think Conqueror on the Hecarim would be good. And like you said, I'm a big fan of the Ignite on the Hecarim.
Yep,
Ghost
I agree.
feels really cool because you like are flying, but especially at like 1 through 3, it kind of guarantees a crab.
Yeah,
if
and
you
if
have
you
a
get
fight
that
for a crab.
Ignite, like if Jarvan's also running the Conqueror, it just makes it so that you win the fight a lot harder because you're going to be healing so much while he's not able.
Yeah, you get the early grievous wounds, and we've seen Scuttle Crab priority be so important. If you can get both crabs, it's just like you're a whole level ahead, and then you can kind of snowball that into the lane. So taking that Ignite kind of guarantees that 1v1 where unless one lane is just horrendously like loses prio or loses the first movement, which shouldn't happen, but obviously it does. All things even, it guarantees at least one crab and possibly two, especially the advantage towards the second crab. So, and then Alistar has been getting some buffs. So they've been kind of like placebo buffs, I like to call them, because they're not like earth-shattering.
Brisket's always asking me to play it.
He likes Alistar.
Yeah.
It's like the buffs that he gets, it's like, that looks useless, but it's kind of like reminds you that it's a champion.
A little cooldown on my Q doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, because you need
just get
both.
the one combo off anyway.
Yeah. But he is a fun champion. I always like seeing him, especially at Worlds. I feel like he's always relevant for Worlds, so they're kind of bringing him up there. But his level 1 just feels so awful.
I will say into Tristana, it's a pretty good pick. If the Tristana does jump in, you get a free Q. You can probably headbutt her onto your tower.
Yeah, and you can even interrupt the jump if you time it correctly with the Q, because if you E, she inputs her jump, and then you Q, and it still cancels it, so she... You know how her jump is.
Tristana times it right.
Yeah,
she can still jump out of it, but
it's a lot harder than like a single, like a blitzcrank hook or something where it's just a single timing.
The problem though is it's kind of like with Vayne against Alistar too. You can just condemn the Alistar out of his combo. She can also just ult him out.
That's true.
You also have the Thresh that's there.
Yeah,
so
Thresh makes it very hard because the Flay really just kind of interrupts it.
The one cool thing Alistar can do against Thresh is just eat the hook, instantly ult,
and then go
cleanse
in there.
it, and then ult, and then go in.
Yeah.
But it is still a really hard lane for the Alistar to get in onto this Tristana. But the Alistar pick also makes it hard for the Tristana to go in.
And it's a good answer for like Hecarim, Sylas. He can just take him out of the fight, and by that much, like if Hecarim's got a full channeled E, he just gets knocked out of the fight, and then he has to like come in slow. And with the Ignite, he doesn't have the Ghost to prolong that speed boost. And he did take the Ignite. Both junglers taking Conqueror, Gilio taking Conqueror. We have seen Sylas kind of in solo queue move towards Fleet Footwork a little bit into difficult matchups. Shen, deceptively, like you said, does a lot of damage. His level 1,
especially early.
Yeah, into a weak laner.
One of the strongest level 1s in the game.
If you land his Q or get the sword through, and then you just run people down, it's like, where is all this damage coming from? He's just working me with auto attacks. So
especially with that extra grass pock right at the end.
Yeah, he just really adds a little extra damage. The one thing that I've been seeing on Alistar, I think Helicopter runs Phase Rush on him. So you do the combo, and then you use his E, and you get the Phase Rush, and you can just chase people down and get that guaranteed stun. So that's something a little interesting. Obviously, Aftershock is so good. It hurts not to take it. And then press the attack on both these AD carries.
Another thing people have been doing is just running Unsealed Spellbook on your support so you can just get more of the utility from it.
Yeah,
you get that exhaust and heal. And
Hex Flash on supports with Nimbus Cloak just seems so... It should not work that way.
It did get nerfed.
It did get nerfed, but for a while it was just ridiculous seeing... Mainly Set use Hex Flash and just run at people with his Q and just be so fast.
You get the Dead Man's Boots of Swiftness, then you just Hex Flash on them and just run them down.
Yeah, you have like 300% movement speed and no AD carry can run away from you. Yeah, Set, I was saying for a long time, I think Set's best role is support. Now jungle seems to be popping up as a lot more of favorites, but...
I still think it's viable as a support. The Nimbus Glow nerf does hurt a bit, but... it's not that bad.
Yeah. So these lanes here, I'm expecting Lucian Alistar, once they hit 2, to kind of have a little bit of agency, but we see Vindy, Pai holding their own here, kind of falling off, following the wave.
Yeah.
But Lucian is just so good early, and he's another one of those AD carries, just like Kalista, that if you don't get really ahead, just seems to fall off just enough. He still does a lot in mid-late game, but just... It doesn't feel as good as when he was super OP, when he was just skating around, just one-shotting people.
He was on like a 2-second cooldown.
Yeah, that was the fun Lucian days.
Yeah.
But
they've been giving him a couple of buffs recently. I don't remember what this last one was, but they made it so his E, or not his E, his passive, both can crit at 100%.
Gotcha. That's a big change because they was down to like 40 at one point and then slowly coming back. So. That's a good change, I think.
That was a while ago, so I don't remember what this last one was.
I don't think it was anything crazy, but...
I think maybe just damage on his Q, and that was about it.
Yeah. And then mid lane, Syndra up 3 CS, so we see Cho'Gath taking the Doran's shield, just playing this. And he did take the Glacial, so it is going to be that hybrid kind of a off-tank, really utility. We saw Padawan last week take this and go the Spooky Ghost and the Super Soaker and just be so good and look for picks, and that's pretty much the best thing. And Cho'Gath is so good at getting picks because you get the slow into silence, and then his execute does so much when especially when it's boosted by the AP that he picks up. And you see a flash EQ coming in from Jarvan just to be answered by the Silas, so nothing too crazy, but that is going to give Shen lane priority, and he's going to be looking to run away with this. And Silas just looking to hold on. He's as a top laner, he scales so well. He's kind of those champions where it feels like if he doesn't get shut down completely, he is always relevant. And then Ekram coming in on Mega Man with no mana, but he's just going to auto attack it out. And he has the phase rush. Phase rush is another one of those.
Yeah. They're just looking to get this Cho'Gath to get ahead. So Cho'Gath's biggest problem is landing his Q for most of the time. That's why you run this slow comp, where you get the slow off so you can land your Rupture. Yeah, and that's most of his damage in what he traditionally maxes for. So if you miss that, it's kind of like your whole trade is in the dump. So he gets a good back here. He gets it pushed in with the help of Hecarim, and he just picks up an Amp Tome, bunch of pieces. He's got a broken stopwatch getting ready to, or not broken, but the one that comes. Yeah, the one you get it from the runes.
Yeah, for free. Free 600 gold.
Well, it doesn't give
not
600
anymore,
gold.
Yeah. It was when it was originally.
Yeah, that was balanced.
That was 6. Everyone took stopwatch boots. Oh, what a good time. Best item in league, 600 gold. But yeah, Syndra looking on the roam here, probably just to get Dragon Control.
Yep.
Cho'Gath, like you said, he got the good cheater recall, and now he's going to look to shove it back in. And Hecarim could answer this if they have any idea that he's there, but we see a couple pings going down, but it's probably going to be too late.
It is hard for EGL to fight on the bot side here, because the Tristana is going to need items to keep up with this damage that Lucian will be putting out.
Yeah, and with just Doran's Blades, Lucian would win that.
So I'd like to see this Hecarim go top lane and try and get the Silas ahead. But looks like he might go through mid again here.
Yeah, and if Silas does get ahead, he can kind of run this lane, whereas Shen, pretty much, unless something catastrophic happens, if Silas gets ahead, he can really just put the 1v1 to Shen, and then Hecarim can focus on the bot lane. And with losing the first dragon, they really want to get topside ahead, so that he can, once Silas gets a kill, a little bit of XP lead, he can focus pretty much on bot lane, and then Silas can kind of be on his own island. And man, that Hecarim skin is pretty cool. That must be a new one, but
I'd have to see it again, see what it was.
Or maybe it's just this. I don't even know.
Yeah, I don't know. Is that High Noon?
Did he get a High Noon skin?
He does have a High Noon skin, but I don't know if that's it or not.
Yeah, and then this Jarvan and Syndra skin combo. They got the pink pool party, I see. Must have called each other, made sure they matched.
Didn't get the whole pool party team comp, though.
Oh, what's going on, guys?
Yeah.
They got like 10 champions in pool party now, so...
Oh yeah, it's High Noon.
It's High Noon.
It's got the tumbleweeds in the W. So
I like that skin. That's pretty nice. He gets a lot of really cool skins. He's got like the Headhunter or the Headless Horseman skin. Even his like 10 gemstone skin, I think, is the best one.
The Lancer. Something.
Yeah, something like that. All the other ones kind of look mediocre, but his is really cool.
They got the High Noon Thresh though too, so they also are running the High Noon comp on this. So it's High Noon versus Pool Party today. Let's see what goes on.
We'll see who wins. Wait, is that High Noon Lucian though?
Oh, it is.
So we just got a bunch of High Noons. Everyone must be playing Overwatch, playing some McCree. That's the only thing I remember from when Overwatch came out. Everyone would yell, "It's High Noon."
We see the Shen picking up a Bramble Vest first item, trying to stop the W from Silas. Probably one of the most broken abilities in the game.
Yeah, and it's a really interesting build because, sure, it does hard counter Silas, but Silas is going to be building AP, so it's armor while stopping healing. But I think that's the right build right there. The only other option would be obviously like Merc Treads or something.
Well, it's kind of like as Shen, you do need a little bit of damage in your build. Like you do like to see a Shen go for that TM out early so that they get the split push, so that they can like TP and use their ult somewhere else.
Yeah.
So building the Bramble first kind of seems like he's not comfortable in the matchup.
Yeah, and that's kind of like a red flag, like you said. You really want to be able to, especially at this point right here, 6-7, get lane priority so you can TP and then ult somewhere and then TP back and then not miss and fall behind, because like we said, this Sylas is looking to scale to level like 11, 12, 13, where he really gets strong, where he gets that Q, and I think he is Q max. That's been something that's been popping up, but once he gets his like W max, which would be his second, that's when he really is going to be able to take this lane in his control. So look for Shen to get that Shredder build. Shredder Shen is the most exciting one, where he builds like full Titanic Hydra right away, and then then he goes a little tanky unless he's really head, and he could pick up something like a Wit's End, especially into Sylas would be pretty hype. But I don't think that's gonna happen. That might be a little too hypey.
No, you gotta play. I don't remember what it's called anymore, but you just run like Luden's Echo, Static Shiv, Shen, and you just like try and one-shot people.
I'm not too sure about that. I know his ult does have a very high AP ratio, but I doubt we'll see that coming out here. That seems like
it procs on your Q as well.
Oh.
So you just get your Q1 auto, it procs both Shiv and Luden's, and then it's one big burst of damage.
I'll leave that to you guys. FN, I'll expect to see that next week, but I can't say I've played that too much. And I think this Alistar skin is actually the
it's a hex deck.
The gemstone one. Yeah. It's kind of okay, I guess.
Well, the coolest part about it is when you get your passive off and it heals, all the gemstones glow green.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, we see it right there.
Yeah. I wish like
nice
when you
touch.
used your trample, they would like glow red or something.
Yeah, a little bit more for 10 gemstones. It should be something, but it's no black Alistar. That's
but.
No one has that skin.
No one has that
skin.
You have to like pay like $200 to get an account with that skin on.
Yeah, and all these lanes are going pretty even. Nothing really crazy. Lucian getting a 14 CS lead.
Yeah, I'd like to see EGL now try to go for this Dragon. You do have the smite from Hecarim and the feast from.
Yeah, I was gonna say Cho'Gath's feast out smites at this point,
but PTC is there so much earlier. They should be able to just get this if they just keep rushing it.
Yeah, but I like the play on the other side of the map with the Rift Herald going down, and we are just gonna have a 50-50, and Cho'Gath flash feasts it.
Yep,
but he's gonna die.
Yeah, you get 2 kills on your Lucian for just the Dragon. I'm not sure if it's actually worth. Yeah. It'd be nice to like have your Thresh there to at least save someone with the Lantern.
Yeah, and Sylas did end up getting. Oh, but he's going to die. Bunch of turret plates. Oh, never mind. Sylas is broken.
Yep, Sylas W.
Sylas W. Oh, he does have to flash out.
Yeah,
we'll see if
Shen did have his flash up too, and as he was coming back on cooldown, so giving him the respect.
Yeah, I think that's the right play. You'd rather see an early flash than him get taunted and then flash, and Shen just answers the flash. Something like that. So we got 3 plates in the top lane for the Sylas. Hecarim dropped the Rift Herald up there before the Dragon spawned, so that is kind of why they lost the inside track to it.
Well, also their bot lane recalled. I didn't see if they got like chunked out or anything, but like looking at their inventory, I don't see any like specific item that like. It's not like they went back for Stormrazor.
Yeah,
so.
Or Infinity Edge, but he is going for the Stormrazor. But like that one big first item spike is something that. Okay, then we can recall, and then we'll look to force this fight. But we see Lucian had the... I think he recalled after getting the kills for the Essence Reaver.
Yeah, but it was just a weird time to back from the EGL side, where you know Dragon's going to be up, and you want to fight for it, or at least try and steal it. You should have your bot lane there as well.
Yeah, and that's kind of just got to be a good communication point where you got to keep in mind, hey, they're looking for Dragon. They end up getting it, but had to sacrifice way too much for it.
Because that was a lot of gold they gave over to Lucian. They got first blood and a second kill.
Yeah, and the gold kind of swung. It was actually either really close, but Hecarim was up like 20 CS on Jarvan, and that was kind of where all the gold lead was coming from. But now we see bot lane Prio, EGL's bot lane having to recall again to finish the Stormrazor because he must have been like 100 gold short from that recall on the Dragon. We see the all-in coming here, and we see the Sylas
ulting on Shen.
So the Sylas uses Shen ultimate to get down here while it's still on cooldown for Megan Foxy. And we see the TP coming out of Mega Man Zero. So really good answer kill coming down using the Shen ult offensively. Even though they don't have the Shen, they use it offensively with the Sylas, which is what you really want to see when you have a Shen. Don't want it to be reactionary.
They waited for the Alistar to headbutt the Thresh into their Lucian before they actually started channeling it. And so I don't know if PTC wasn't expecting the Shen ult.
Yeah, and you think that's something that's communicated, that Sylas stole Shen's ultimate. Don't assassinate our AD carry by delivering a Thresh. But very good play by EGL. And we talk about it every time we have a Shen. If you see Shen ultimate being used only as a reactionary, it's probably not going to be a successful pick. But when you see it proactively used, like it was there, either timed with the jungler, like if you have Hecarim running in with the Sylas, ulting on top of them, it's just so much more effective.
And they really needed to make a play like that because this bot lane was going to really start snowballing. Because the Lucian had gotten like 3 plates already.
Plus
but you saw
kills.
Just the 1 kill for the Tristana and being able to put her E onto the tower and let it explode. They're basically now back at, I can't see how many plates they took, but it was at least 2 or 3.
Yeah. And we see the bot lane switching here. So Sylas going to be answering Shen in the bot lane, and then Triss Thresh answering Lucian up top here. Playing for the second Rift Herald. I like the focus on objectives has been very good this game. Sometimes we see some of these teams a little bit late, and that's when they kind of lose objectives that they get for freeze. But PTC right there when second Rift spawns, move Lucian Alistar up here, get the front, get the first move towards it. Sure, Mega Man Zero kind of did no damage with his ultimate there on Hecarim, but they do get the prio here. They're going to get the Rift Herald, get first tower, start taking these objectives, and be able to move their bot lane around the map to start opening up this game and getting some of the gold lead. Oh, but the hook's going to land on Alistar. Maybe it was a bait, but Hecarim running in does a lot of damage. I'm focusing the Alistar, though, but Shen's going to ult in. Yeah, Shen comes in.
We could see a feast here.
Yeah, he actually feasts Jarvan. Oh, but and the hook's going to land.
That's a giant hook.
That's a great hook from over the wall, but Deadpool Gambit is strong still.
Nope.
Does a lot of damage, goes down. Mega Man Zero picks up the kill on Thresh. Long extended team fight here, and they're on the wrong side of the map. And Vindy has no health. He might just die to super minions. And we see Shen actually left the fight to go back bot lane.
We saw Mega Man finish off Vindy while it goes back to this fight bot lane.
I think minions might have killed him.
Oh,
he was just
yeah,
he was taking a cannon minion and losing a lot of health. But Cryptic gets out. He was in a really bad spot, so it was kind of Vindy or Cryptic. One of them was going to go down, and they let minions finish him off. And Gilio doing a really good job here in the matchup, pushing Shen in, getting a 30 CS lead. We did see Shen leave to help his team, and Shen did pick up the team at, so looking to push back. But yeah, it got interrupted, but the shield still came through.
Yeah. But we saw earlier the Lucian had like a 1k gold lead bot lane, but the Sylas also had a 1k gold lead on the Shen, and he's really starting to use that lead to his advantage. Now up 30 CS.
And he doesn't have like the best ultimates. He has Shen, but Alistar ultimate in late game is actually so OP on Sylas. He just can cleanse and get the damage reduction where he is unkillable. And then his W, it is just a very strong.
There is the Lucian ult as well, which is
Lucian,
super good.
Yeah, I guess I haven't seen it too often.
I just realized that is what they buffed. They now have more shots on the Lucian ults based on what level.
Okay.
So they're going to be doing more damage,
and
also
it's converted to magic as well with Sylas. So, yeah, that was quite the extended team fight. And the thing about those kind of team fights is they go on for so long. Sometimes it's like you lose track of who is or what's going on the map. So like on the last one, we didn't see Sylas join, but he did end up getting bot priority and getting the bot tower, which is answering the second Rift Herald. So with a lot less resources used, they get a good trade, and EGL on that coming out of it even get the second dragon. So unlucky that it's Air Dragon. No one likes Air Dragon. But
so the thing about Cloud is like the Soul is the worst of them all, but it is the best dragon to get as many stacked. If you get the Cloud Soul with 3 dragons when they have none, you have window, you get to use mirror ults more often and more aggressive, and they're going to be up way more often.
And champions like Silas, the ult CDR is super, super good. He could probably, with multiple stacks of Cloud Dragon, get 2 ultimates off guaranteed in team fights, which is just so impactful. If you can get the Alistar ultimate to start the fight, and then in the end of the fight grab a Lucian ultimate to finish it off, like, I feel like that combo is just so, so strong.
Not quite having the damage to finish off the blue buff there.
Yeah.
The Syndra.
And that's the worst feeling when it resets the Walk of Shame back. But
Cryptic's out of the area now, so he should be able to.
Yeah, now he can do it. No sweat. His pool party partner's on his way to.
Oh, okay. He did it right this time. I got it.
But yeah, I'm really excited to see how these mid to late game team fights come out, because it is very even on the team comp. So we don't have one team that's really focused on the early game that's going to start to fall off. And we see,
we see the Thresh trying to force a fight on
Forces in here.
The Shen coming in to block the Feast from the Cho'Gath.
Yeah, it's very good, or very big, because he doesn't get the stacks, and EGL really just hit the go button, and PyPy said, I'm going in, and he just walked forward, landed a hook, didn't take too much damage in response. I thought he was getting a little overextended into a Lucian, like going all in on an Alistar while Lucian's just pumping into you. It sometimes can be scary, but ends up living, and
the thing with Alistar is, like, you always feel really safe. Like, yeah, I have all these resistances from my ult, and then Cho'Gath comes like, I have true damage.
Yeah, I have true damage.
Here's 800 damage kill you, for nothing.
Yeah, and not getting the stack on Cho'Gath is big, but it's not the end of the world. Like, it's nice to get, especially when you're going this build. It's not like he's super tank or super squishy. He's kind of in between, so the extra health is good, but not.
With the Cloud Dragon, though, he's going to be able to get these ults off on minions and get his stacks.
I didn't even think of the Cloud Dragon with Cho'Gath. That is very OP, because he can ult and then gets the speed boost as well with the soul.
Yeah, run away.
Run away. Just go in, bite someone, get out of there. But Lantern is also going to help Cho'Gath get in on these fights. So when PyPy walks up like that, he can throw the Lantern back and just get the Cho'Gath onto a target, which is a good combination and good synergy.
It's like, I don't know how many stacks he has left, but like I think he just eats another minion here. And like with that 10% cooldown, it'll be back up by the next time there's a fight. Yeah,
and we see Dragon coming up in a minute 18. As long as he has ultimate for that, he's going to look to feast that, because that also counts as a stack for free. So
yep, it counts as a stack that doesn't. It's not considered one of your 6 minion stacks.
Yeah, it's like a special, or it's basically like a champion. So, and if he gets out of control, Lucian's going to be the only one who can consistently deal damage to him. So. Because Syndra's not going to want to hit him. She's going to be the one to hit this Trist or the Silas. So Cho'Gath could become a problem.
Yeah, especially if you get him on like a flank and get onto this back line.
Yeah.
The coolest thing about the Cho'Gath is the ult scales off of both AP and health.
Yep. So he gets so much benefit from these items that sometimes are awkward for AP champions to build, like the Spooky Ghost, like the Super Soaker. And PyPy just landing all these hooks. He's got the scripts on today.
Yep, and that's the Alistar ult for not really a lot.
For just the Q, and we see Silas sliding in and grabbing that ultimate. So, and PyPy says, come back here again. Doesn't get much out of it. But
didn't decide to go over the wall this time.
No, which probably was a good idea, because he didn't have too much follow-up. He did have the Silas with the Alistar.
You get the Silas over, and you can Lantern the Cho'Gath over the wall.
And we see J4 going in with the Shen's ultimate right on top of it. Mega Man kind of caught out, and this giant Cho'Gath is just running at him, slowing people.
Yeah, but they're focusing the Silas there, but the Silas had the Alistar ult still.
Yeah, Silas had Alistar ult, and I feel like Cho'Gath isn't that tanky yet. Vindy jumps in.
Immediately flashes out.
Tries to Cody Sun. Jumps in, flashes out. Maybe looking for the insect kick or something.
Trying to bait him in.
Yeah, using his life as bait. So
he did get. I mean, I do see that the Jarvan and the Alistar all have no flashes, so I guess maybe 1 for 2 ain't too bad.
Yeah, maybe they were just like, what is this guy doing? He's crazy. He's jumping in. But hey,
he's like, is this the next big brain strat? It must be. Run away.
And it ended up working. He didn't die. I feel like the flash on Triss is just so valuable.
Maybe he was just trying to level up his W.
Yeah.
But I don't know about it.
Just
maybe
goes
not.
in. the flash on Triss is just so good, especially like to dodge a EQ from Jarvan or a stun from Syndra and a combo from Alistar and a taunt from Shen. Like, there's so many uses for it. It's just very awkward. But yeah, like Risk is saying, Sylas had Aliar, and he just tanked so much damage. Those resistance feel so nice, especially when you're on a champion like Sylas, who does a lot of damage, especially with the Ludens finish second. I know Protobelt is pretty much core first, but second item on Sylas is kind of game dependent. So going for the wave clear to answer the Shen as Shen finished Titanic Hydra.
And just a little bit more burst damage for when he does get onto the back line for a team fight.
And with being able to grab Alistar R, it probably makes him feel a lot more safe to build these more AP items, because he's on a lot less threat if he has that R available, because it's a cleanse and a bunch of resistances. So.
Yeah, this Cho'Gath's gonna be a huge problem for this team.
Yeah, he's pretty spooky. Because I just don't see an answer to him.
Yeah,
and that's the biggest thing. Like,
they picked this, like Lucian and Syndra combo that's like really good at like doing a lot of damage really quickly. But
to low health targets. Yeah.
Yeah, it's more for like bursting someone down rather than this really big tank that's just gonna be.
Yeah, and that was after Cho'Gath was first picked by EGL.
Yeah.
So interesting. And we see Shen flashing out here. Maybe just getting a little nervous. Early flashing is good, but not if it's not needed. So
a big thing you can do against Shen is like, Shen's really good at saving everyone else, but if you just target the Shen,
you bring the fight to him. Bring the fight to the global is always a good strategy to do, because no one can TP and help him. So, and then his ultimate is kind of useless. And we see a big pick on PyPy. We've seen PyPy.
But we see the Sylas
ulting in as Shen just to run away. Oh, but Alistar's on the back line. That's why he turned and tried to peel a little bit. But this Lucian, when he can run people down, he's a lot more strong than when he's trying to burst through this huge Cho'Gath. Cho'Gath has a huge flank.
This is a really bad spot for him, actually.
Yeah, he's tanky, but not that tanky.
He has a lot of health, no resistances.
Yep.
So.
And we see Hecarim go back in and re-engage on the Syndra, just short of damage to actually get the kill.
Yep.
And then
this should be Baron.
Yeah, this should be Baron coming out from PTC. Very, very sloppy fight. We saw the Cho'Gath get a very good flank, but it was like so mistimed because it was when the rest of his team was disengaging. Whereas if he gets that flank, maybe at not such a Jurassic angle, like he was just there, like they were all running into him. And that's where getting a good TP flank is so hard, because sometimes if you do it too aggressively, you're just there and their whole team says, oh, let's just kill him, even with how big he was and how tanky he was. And he is building Negatron next, so not really respecting this Lucian. And Lucian, I think, is the only threat to him. So
he's keeping the stopwatch, so it's probably going to be...
Gargoyle Stoneplate.
Gargoyle Stoneplate.
Yep.
That's a really cool interaction with him, too.
Because he does true damage,
You use it, hit more health, and then your ult does even more damage.
Yeah, he's kind of like the best user of Gargoyles. He was kind of like the original, before it really got good, the only one who would really build it. So, but I think if he doesn't get on this Lucian, he is in a lot of trouble. Because Lucian's kind of his only threat in these extended fights. But with the Gargoyles, it's going to be less, because doubling Cho'Gath's health when he has like 2,500.
He is more like 5,000 already.
Yeah. It's going to be very difficult.
Yeah, Lucian does have a lot of items, though.
Yeah.
So.
I'd be interested to see if he gets the 6 items, is he going to pick up the Blade of the Rune King to answer the Cho'Gath?
He should probably pick it up after he finishes his rapid fire here.
Yep, and that's what I was kind of thinking of before Last Whisper, picking that up, because it is such a good item into Cho'Gath and Hecarim, because Hecarim's going to build our HP once he does finish his Triforce, which is going to be very late. He did go for the Cinderhulk first. Sometimes Hecarim's skip the Cinderhulk, they'll get the
Triforce and then go back to it.
Triforce and then go back to it, which I think is a much earlier power spike. But
it's weird because he also has a Kindle Gem in his build as well, and so he could be done with the Triforce already, but he has this extra
800 gold
item
just chilling.
I don't know what he's building it into.
Yeah, I wonder if he didn't have enough gold for one of the components for Triforce and just knew there was going to be a fight for this last dragon and said, I need to maximize my gold right now. Let me get a Kindle Gem. But it's really hurting him now.
Yeah, I probably will build into like a Knight's Vow for Vindy at some point.
Yeah, I know he's a big redemption builder.
If you look at his gold, he probably has enough for Triforce.
I mean,
at
it's
least
300.
It's only like 300, but like he needs to stay around for this.
Yeah, so he just gets enough, but he has to be here. They do have Cho'Gath, so they basically have double smite here, and we see Cho'Gath flashing in, and he actually does get the dragon, and that's going to be Soul. So that getting out for PTC is going to be very hard because they can run him down after all these ultimates, and we see a huge team fight here. Hecarim running wild, no Triforce needed, but Shen is actually doing a lot of damage here because the Cho'Gath and Sylas were on the back line, but we're going to see a delayed ace and probably them run down and get at least tier 3 turret. So
they could probably get inhib here for mid lane.
Yeah.
Actually, the wave's not in the right spot. They probably just take one and then reset, get that gold, get that Triforce on that Hecarim that
he
you've been
needs
needing.
it.
Get the gargoyles on your Cho'Gath.
Yeah, and then those big power spikes make it that much harder. If the Gargoyle Stoneplate comes through before this next team fight, I really struggle to see who's going to kill him unless everyone else dies around him.
We see the Lucian get a Last Whisper before he even finishes his Rapid Fire. I don't really like that because if you look, no one's really building armor yet.
Yeah, the only armor is going to be the arm guard.
You'll see he will be getting gargoyles, but like that's only one armor item when you should be using that gold on the
Blade of the Rune King would be just such more gold efficient, especially in this game because Hecarim even building just straight HP after the Triforce. So we see him get the Jerem's Fist and with the Kindle Gem from before. He has no armor. Top lane has just a little bit with the Seeker's Arm Guard. Mid lane has the Gargoyles, but he's already struggling to get through them.
I feel like he has the Executioners, which is fine for the Sylas and the Hecarim.
Yep.
But I feel like he must feel like he needs to keep upgrading that item to, like, you know, make the inventory spot worth something.
Worth it, yeah.
But I would just wait that till the end.
Yeah, and he did have a Doran's Blade up until and replace it with the Last Whisper, so that could have been the Bilgewater Cutlass potentially, or even just components for the blade.
I mean, 1450 for Last Whisper, you could just finish your Rapid Fire, which is another pretty big power spike too.
And it gives you so much more room to work against this Cho'Gath who's flying in at full speed with a bunch of slows.
Yeah, because Lucian's biggest problem is how small his range is, and being able to just increase that for the one auto attack, you know?
Yep.
And it could be a double auto attack too, so.
And Cho'Gath's so big, he can auto him from pretty good. As long as he's not getting hit by those knockups, he's got to save his dash for that. And that also makes playing the Lucian that much more difficult because he can't just dash aggressively to get those autos weaved in, because if he gets hit by a slow into a knockup, he's probably dead.
Another thing we could see here is maybe a Leandre's pickup from the Syndra, just because everyone is building so much health on that team. It's just going to be so mana efficient.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is with the Earth Dragon, you would think they'd at least be picking up a little bit of resistances just because it gets multiplied by it becomes that much more gold efficient. Where, for like example, Hecarim has Merc Treads and health. Whereas if he would even just pick up a chainmail or something, that would be so much. It comes out to be about just shy of 1,000 worth of armor versus the 800. So it's just a little bit more gold efficient. And when you're ahead and just got Soul, had really good map control, I always look to push that to the farthest that you can. Sure, it might not pay off in the super late game, but if you can end up cracking an inhib off that fight, it ends up opening up the map and letting you play that much more freely.
Yeah, it looks like they didn't even get the mid tower after that fight.
Yeah, they didn't get anything. They did get control over this Baron, and they look like they're going to rush it down. To me, that just looks like Kale's ultimate when Hecarim uses his W with that skin.
I love it because you see the tumbleweeds like you're in the desert.
And PTC actually sends 2 to answer the Sylas here. Shen coming in with the ultimate onto Lucian, but he's struggling to find the range right here, and this is the difficulty with Shen. And we see a nice flash from the combo of Alistar, and then the Thresh Hook interrupts the Q. And we see a really sloppy tank v tank fights. Silas not in this fight, and he's very strong. And we see PTC actually run EGL off the Baron.
Yeah, Silas just recalling here when I don't really know why.
Yeah, so Shen and Syndra answered him.
Bot lane, or
or at least
TP to go
or
into the
get
fight.
the minion wave at least to the tower. He kind of leaves it at this awkward almost there. He's gonna slow push it back if it's not a full wave.
Just weirdly played right there.
Yeah, and
he had a ward by the red buff that he could have gone to and get this really nice flank from behind.
Yeah, they did have good deep wards, and with Syndra and Shen down there, both of those guys made it to the fight, but Silas never did.
Yeah.
He just
I guess the Shen probably wasn't in range for an ult.
Yeah, but he still had TP, so he could have made it.
I don't know. I guess like the fight went fine either way, but
yeah, and Risk It saying Syndra going Void Staff. I really think it's going to be Leandri's. Both those go into that. It could be. I think that would be kind of griefing.
Yeah, I don't think it's a Void Staff. It shouldn't be, because I guess there is the Spirit Visage and the Silas now, but
which is very, very good, and Merc Treads on jungle and mid. But other than that, not a whole lot of MR, and Leandri's is just so efficient at killing this Cho'Gath, who has been giving the whole team so much problems.
Yeah, I'm also not sure if finishing the Morellonomicons worth it right now. You do have the Executioners on your AD carry, you have the Bramble on your top lane.
Yep.
It's probably more worth trying to get to that Leandri's, because you're going to know that you're trying to get through this
massive Cho'Gath. Yeah, they haven't really had the answer to it in any of these last couple fights. Morello's is good against healing, but
goes down real quick, so PTC does have to get here really quick.
And they have to execute with the Cho'Gath, so it's going to be very hard for them to answer it, because it's doing about 1,400 damage here of true damage. So this is one answer they do have, is lock them in the Cataclysm, but no one else answering, because the Silas is just so huge with the Alistar ultimate. No one can kill him and get through him.
And with the Feast on the Cho'Gath, it should never go to PTC.
Yeah, but we see Hecarim actually securing it, and they all should just pop. And we see actually Silas saving his TP and going top lane with the Cho'Gath. Yep. They're looking just to end the game.
Looking to end.
Very clean fight that was. We saw Jarvan really go to the backline and try and kill him.
The team needs to go up, and if they want to go for the end, but I guess they're just going to decide, get the top lane inhibitor, go for the Baron
at the same time.
Yep, and then group up as a 5 with the Baron and the Elder buff and push through mid lane and end it there.
Yeah. So Jarvan did a good job getting to the back lane, but there was just no follow-up because Silas did the same thing, but just better.
Had the Alistar ult.
Yeah. And Spirit Visage, so he's healing so much. He has his arm guard for Lucian, but Lucian kind of ignoring that at that point. But he just heals so much and takes so little damage that very, very polarizing team fight where one champion just did it a little bit better than Jarvan, and nothing Jarvan can do in that situation. He got to the back line, locked them all down, but
this Cho'Gath that they first picked the Cho'Gath and they couldn't find any answer to it through the whole draft phase.
No.
So maybe it'll get a ban next game or not.
Unless they have an answer to it. I'm trying to think of Vayne is obviously traditionally the.
Yeah, I would have preferred the Vayne last pick instead of the Lucian.
And they didn't really have a very bad pick into it. Like if they would have locked in Vayne as that R5, Tristana is a difficult matchup for Vayne, but it's not like a unplayable lane. And that would have been a very good answer to this Cho'Gath because
but the Alistar is there to help protect it. I said, this Tristana can't really jump in on the Alistar combo.
Yeah, we see them blowing everything on this Cho'Gath and almost getting through him, but
just so much health.
Yeah, they used 4 ultimates there just to do 75-80% of Cho'Gath's health bar.
Yep, but now we just see the Silas split push.
Yeah,
it's just going to start collapsing really far now.
And Silas had Syndra R, one of the more weak Rs that he could grab for the enemy team, but doing the trick as it wears off here. Just pushing all lanes. They do have the top inhib down, and this is where Tristana can really shine. at 16, 17, 18. Gets that extra range, melts turrets.
She's just so safe. Her autos are going to be doing so much.
Yep, and she has the jump where if something does threaten her, she can just jump out and be perfectly fine. And then she has all these huge bodies to stand behind, and she can just free fire. She can just right click and just sit back and let it happen.
That interrupted the dash from the. Okay, they don't get anything off of it. No, look at the Alistair here. Just Tristana jump forward.
And he's got nothing. Yeah, oh, you wanted me to go in? I take the lantern, jump in the tower. I think he learned last week, but.
Well, it's just the Jarvan had no EQ combo anymore. They saw that it was down. Probably could have jumped in, got the Jarvan.
Pi actually flash play. And they're still just focusing this Jarvan, a little counter synergy. Bindi ults him out, but he gets the kill anyways. And here comes the Sylas, who's still very strong. And we see just no answer to this Cho'Gath. And with having this front line, this is kind of like an AD carry's dream. You have a Thresh to lantern you, a 5,000 HP Cho'Gath, a huge Sylas who build mostly tank, and a Hecarim to frontline. Yeah. And you can just sit there on Trist as being very safe and just pump out the damage.
Yeah, you'll just hit the tanks, out-damage the Lucian.
Yeah,
even if you don't do more damage than the Lucian has to go through so much more HP than you do.
And
where it
just
doesn't
work
matter.
so much harder. He has to dash, dodge everything, where Triss can just play so much more safe. So EGL going to be finding game number 1 there with, we see Sylas winning the DPS. Lucian doing the most in the game, as we saw. He was playing very well, but at a certain point, losing to the shopkeeper. Not getting the blade.
You're going to be doing the most damage when you're just wailing on a Cho'Gath for 30 seconds.
No resistances, just a bunch of health. That is very true. But very interesting pick, and see if PTC has an answer or if it just has to get banned. Going to be coming back to Champ Select in 10 minutes. So we're going to take a little 5-minute break here. We'll see you in a couple minutes. Don't go anywhere.
B&H, how can I help you?
B&H is here. From our homes to yours, as your collaborators, creative partners, and problem solvers.
What type of photography do you do? It's actually a very good choice.
I've got a great mic that'll work perfect for that.
As always.
All right, welcome back. We're back after our little voice break. And we got game 2 coming up. Is EGL going to be able to close it out, secure second place and their place in the finals, or are they going to drop it? Are we going to see our back-to-back 3-game series? Back-to-back-to-back. 3 weeks in a row, 3-game series.
That game was kind of back and forth. Really clown fiesta. Could have gone either way.
Yeah, we were kind of talking. The first 12 minutes, there was no action. Everyone was just handshaking. And then third dragon spawned, and they just said, we're going to fight the rest of the game until someone next is explode. And we're not even going to prep side waves and stuff for it.
Yeah, props
we're just going to fight.
Cryptic just saying, pick me the Cho'Gath. I'm going to get us the dragons that we need. I'm going to secure all these objectives. I'm going to be really big.
Yeah, and we had talked about the Callista being AD carry who can secure objectives and pretty much guarantee them for your team as long as you are not falling tragically behind. Cho'Gath does the exact same thing, but in the mid lane or top lane, whereas Feast just does 1,000 true damage to monsters. I think it's 850 early. I'm not sure. I can't say I've played Cho'Gath since season 2.
I think it's 1,000.
1,000?
1,000 plus whatever your AP ratios are.
Gotcha. But that's just so good for securing those dragons and putting that win condition on the table. And we've seen Set played in the mid lane as an answer to some of these mages where he just doesn't die. He just builds HP and he can take all the harass and still be very useful. Cho'Gath kind of fills that same role where he just builds a lot of health, a lot of pick potential, brings some CC, those objective securing, and it
just takes the poke. And then when he farms, he just gets it all back.
Yeah, he gets the health, similar to Set, where he gets ridiculous HP regen for some reason. But Cho'Gath does the same thing. As long as he's getting the creeps, he gets health back. He can kind of go through those lanes unpunished. And it was a very interesting. The one thing I would have liked to see if Mega Man Zero played the Lucian and Deadpool played the Syndra, I think the lane could have been a lot more dominant for PTC. Cho'Gath struggles early landing his Q until he finishes those items. So he could have been put farther behind. Would it have changed anything? I still think they struggled to get through him in the long term.
Well, like we said, Vayne would have been a pretty spicy pick for that game.
Yeah.
Getting through the Silas that's going to be getting the Alistar ult, the Cho'Gath, the
true damage
Thresh,
max health true damage is pretty good in the tank.
I don't know if Deadpool really plays it though.
And it's a tough pick. I mean, Vayne is a very hard champion to.
I don't know if Vayne,
if it's not practiced.
If the Tristana jumps in on the Vayne Alistar, you just you pulverize and then you W him and then you condemn him.
Yeah, that's true. And Vindy messaged us and confirmed he did not mean to jump in when he jumped in and flashed out immediately. It was a fat finger. We'll give him the break, but even though we've seen him do it about 10 times in 3 games, it might just be his adrenaline. But we'll give him this one since they were able to play the rest of the game pretty clean after that.
Meant to press Q.
Yeah,
you just wanted the attack speed.
So the Triss looked good. Obviously, when you have a bunch of tanks around it, empowering it, it looks a lot better. AD carries look amazing when they're surrounded by big, beefy boys who can just do a lot of damage and secure everything. So I'm interested to see how the draft's going to change.
Yeah.
Are we going to see the Yasuo that PTC has played so efficiently in scrims, or
we could see just the choke band, or maybe I don't know if Megan Foxy plays it, or if someone on their team picks it,
or just have an answer to it.
Yeah. Another thing that we didn't really mention a lot in that last game was the Thresh. Was landing a lot of big crucial hooks, burning the Alistar ults, getting a lot of picks.
Yeah, the Flay was so good at keeping him out. We saw multiple times where
Alistar would
go
in for a combo and you would just flay him out of it. It was really consistent and really well played from Black.
And then he was lancering the big boys in, either at Silas or Cho'Gath. He was getting them to the back line, or at least close where they could be useful. And we see the Cho'Gath getting the ban, so they must not have a huge answer. We see a Felio Swain. Malphite ban.
We're seeing the Malphite ban still, and I don't really know why.
So I know Malphite is like a guaranteed ban if you're trying to play Quinn, because Malphite just destroys Quinn.
Is this going to be a Caitlyn ban again, or are they going to let PTC have it? I don't think you can let Caitlyn through.
I don't either. And we see the 4 bot lane bans down from 5, so the pool's still.
So Senna is still there.
Yeah, Senna's the one that's going to change out for the Cho'Gath.
Yeah, the Malphite ban for the Yasuo comp, but
Why wouldn't you just ban Yasuo then?
Yeah, you can just ban the Yasuo, because like you don't need the Malphite for Yasuo. You're still gonna get the Gragas. You can still get Gragas, and
Alistar,
and
bunch. But we see Senna coming in, and very interesting play style. It's probably gonna be farming, more typical. Oh, Singed hover. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna come in. I saw it last week. My heart was broken. But Gilio looked very good on Sion when he did play it.
We're just gonna see the run back from Vindy, I guess.
Vindy, the Trist, he loves jumping in.
He wants to prove to us that W was a fluke.
Yeah.
He wants to show the world that he knows how to use it effectively.
And we're still waiting. Singed hovered.
We could just see probably the Shen again, maybe.
Yes, or we saw the Cyan hovered. He played it so well when he played it. Was it last week?
Just running back to Thresh as well.
Yeah,
so
Thresh, and they both played very well last game.
Yeah, I think it's Pai's most played, and it's really consistent.
Yeah, and he looked very clean on it, like we had said. Landing the hooks, even if we're just burning Alistar ult. If you burn the Alistar ult before a team fight, that's a huge cooldown. And just gives the openings. But we see Nautilus coming in. Senna Nautilus is a very good 2v2. Low on damage in the early game, but really comes on. Yeah. And I'm interested to see the Senna build. Is it going to be the Black Cleaver with Frozen Mallet, or is it going to be the Glacial Augment tier?
I think with the farming Senna, you generally go with the tier. And
tier
you can go tier into Black Cleaver. But...
And then they would just take Glacial Augment, I'm assuming.
I would have liked to see like a Jarvan pick here and try and get this. So Senna and Nautilus, maybe not the most damage, but a lot of crowd control for a bot lane.
Very annoying.
And so if you pull the Jarvan, he'll bring the damage to that bot lane. But with the Trundle pick here, it's kind of...
And I just see them struggling to get onto this Triss Thresh. If they don't hook the Thresh with the Nautilus, I don't see a time 2v2 or even 3v3 where they...
But we see the Corki, who is like, he's probably the best carry for the mid laner right now.
Yeah, I think so too.
Late game.
I think Corki just scales so nice, and he's hard to build against because he does do that hybrid.
I really like this pick here because the biggest way to like shut down Corki is punish him for his early game and get him ahead. But when you see the Trundle, he's not really like the greatest mid lane ganker of all time.
Yeah, mid lane especially because there's so many routes for it.
He just puts up a pillar, but then Corki can just W over the pillar anyway and get out of that slow.
Unless it's combined with something like the Camille mid, where you can put the pillar up and E to it. That's something that we've seen, but we see PTC
could also be.
So.
I would love to see Malzahar here. Make it where you just ult the Corki, make him buy the QSS.
Yeah, put the QSS tax on both Corki and Triss.
And really try and slow down his late game and force him to waste a bunch of gold early. Yeah, the problem with that though is QSS isn't really a bad item on both Corki or Tristana. They're really when it gets to late game,
can use it.
They're gonna build those items anyway.
Yeah, but it will delay their spikes just enough, maybe to get that 2 dragon lead, and then you can go from there. And putting a 1,300 gold tax on the enemy carries is always a good thing. And we have seen Mega Man Zero play it. He played against THE and looked very good. But here's Volibear. Volibear is absolutely super strong in this meta.
I wouldn't really... So when you see a Trundle pick, you don't really want to start picking all these tanks.
Yeah, into Trundle is difficult, and HP even because he takes that.
This would have been a really good game for the Graves because the Trundle is going to be healing a lot.
Or something like a
Kindred. You get your Ignite on it. You get the Ignite Graves going, and then you can run down the Trundle early game as well with Graves.
Yeah, or even something like a Kindred where you could protect this triple AD carry with the ultimate, and then you just do so much damage, and you can kind of just run Trundle around and just kill him in his jungle if you really want to. But we see the Syndra ran back. Could be Yasuo. Yasuo Trundle is a very good mid lane. It lands the pillar. As long as he gets the knockup, he can ult off of it.
No, we're looking for the top laner here because we already have the Senna.
Oh, yeah. Senna's not going to be going to the...
So with a Fiora pick... The biggest counter... So I was talking to Bear about this the other day because someone did run... I think it was Megan Fox running the Fiora, and we had banned the Malphite. And that was going to be his counter pick to it. So I don't really know what you play into Fiora here.
Yeah, something like... I don't think Gangplank's the best. They both scale But something like a Darius, something that can just really Renekton is even pretty good, or like a Jax really shuts down Fiora because they just go on her, and as long as they don't get stunned by the riposte, she really struggles. But Fiora's kind of the scaling champion that if she gets to 3 items, she kind of 1v1s everyone.
Yeah, and she will win the early game against the GP.
Yep.
GP has no counters. I do believe GP can win this lane.
I think GP wins until level 6, and then it's a farm
when
fest.
You're playing against a melee matchup, it's really good to start with your barrel rather than your Q, because you can
zone them off,
put down the barrel, auto them with your passive, and get your passive up multiple times and trade with that.
Yeah. It's just I just don't see a way either of these top laners die 1v1. I think it's just they both scale very well. Gangplank scales very well into a good team fighting champion. Fiora scales incredibly well in the side lane for a 1v1 duelist. So I think both of them are kind of going to handshake and just kind of farm up.
And the thing with the Gangplank, though, into the Fiora is she's going to want to be split pushing, and you can just be up there, wave clear, stay underneath your turret, and then ult somewhere else to help with the team fight. And you're still going to be effective. Very
similar to what the Shen was last game. You kind of want to bring the fight to the Gangplank, and Fiora... She isn't like the worst 5v5 champion, but she definitely doesn't feel like her full potential. Her full potential is in the side lane where she can 1v1 and then start bashing towers, because she takes towers so fast with the change where she can Q towers. Her E is an auto reset on tower. She can like burn through a tower in one minion wave in the mid to late game. So that's something that she wants to do. So she wants this Gangplank to be actually drawn into the fight so she can just split freely.
I just feel like PTC's draft here, it's too like no one really like works together.
Yeah,
you know, you have the Syndra, Senna, Nautilus, and Trundle who kind of all want a team fight, but then you also don't have. You just want this Fiora that just wants to like split push, and like I think Senna's biggest strength is being able to support your solo laners who want to go in.
Yep.
So like, I don't know. It's gonna be rough because you need the melee characters to be doing the damage in these team fights.
Yeah, I look at it this way: if EGL wants to fight and Volibear ults in, what is PTC's real answers? They do have the knockback from the Syndra, but then other than that, they can kind of get ran down. And while Fiora's split pushing and getting pressure on the map, EGL has enough go buttons by putting the Gangplank ult on the team, Volibear jumping in, Corki packaging in. They have enough go buttons to counteract that. So I do really like the EGL comp. I think Fiora in a certain scenario, if played correctly and PTC is able to... You know, you're going to lose momentum in the 4v4 because you don't have great answers, but if you buy Fiora enough time or get her ahead enough where she can just press R on Gangplank and run at him and chunk him out and then get free time in the side lanes, I think that's a win condition for PTC. Just hoping for Vindy to jump in. And we haven't seen Cryptic on Corki, so they do have a squishy team fight. Where Fiora isn't the worst into them, she does struggle with tanks and stuff in extended team fights, as long as she's not like hitting all the vitals and stuff, because that gives % max health true damage like all these rework champions get. So she can deal with them, but it's tough.
With only the one tank on EGL's side, you're going to just see the Trundle ult him, and then they're going to hope to just burst him down with the Syndra. But even without the Volibear being there after that, you're still going to have to deal with this Corki coming in, and you just used your Syndra to burst out this Volibear, where the Corki is just going to then run over the whole team fight, even without the tank there.
Yeah, I feel like EGL just has so many more damage options. They kind of fell into the Syndra trap again, PTC, where they have the burst damage, a little bit more sustained this game, but they had the burst damage from the Lucian and the Syndra last game. In this game, they have Senna, so you know she doesn't have that really reliable sustained damage. Sometimes, or like if she gets super ahead, she does a bunch of damage, but in a normal game, she does below average for AD carries damage profile wise. So,
which is why like when you play the Senna, you need like the damage coming from somewhere else.
Yep.
But then you're picking a split pushing champion and like someone who's good at shredding tanks for other people as well. It's like you have too many support characters. You have 3 basically supports, and then a Fiora and a Syndra that are going to have to do all your damage.
And they're doing kind of contradicting things. Whereas if the Trundle was in last game and able to kill that massive Cho'Gath and just shred him down, that would have been a much better answer. But this game, only having Volibear to really answer. But Trundle is good in the 1v1s early game. He does fall off damage-wise. And, man, where are all these skins coming from? I
think that's World Ender Trundle.
Okay, yeah, I don't see many of the. I don't buy a lot of skins and stuff like that, but that skin looks so cool. He's like a big troll.
Yeah.
Who would have guessed?
Or maybe it's the Dragon Tamer one. I don't know.
Yeah,
so many of them look.
Yeah, that's Twitch chat. We got to find out what skin this is. That's our job for this game. I think PTC really needs to get ahead bot lane, and I don't think it's that easy. For them to win this game, I think the Senna needs to get a little bit of a lead and be able to use her long range before Triss gets to that point to kind of dominate this lane. Otherwise, I feel like it's all eggs in the Fiora basket to win the side lane, and Gilio to misstep, take a bad trade, and let her just get a bunch of towers and a lot of pressure.
We'll see here if he starts Q.
I think he did Q her in that to start that trade off.
Yeah.
Which isn't the worst, but like you said,
it's not the worst. But Beryl is really good into a melee matchup because you can just get your passive off, which does, true damage.
Yeah.
So it's just gonna be doing so much in a level 1 engage if you can get it off. You can get it up to 4 times.
Yeah, and I don't know why Megan Foxy's looking for these trades at level 1. She definitely loses level 1, 2. I think up until like 5, 6.
Yeah. I'm also not sure about the grasp. If anything, I would have probably taken like complete footwork
to just make those trades even a little more favorable. But we see the hook coming in by Pai. I haven't seen him miss a hook for about 10 minutes of gameplay. But just a fun little trade here. Is this High Noon Senna? All these guys have all these cool skins. And the key for Megan Foxy on these trades, the W has to land, slowing the attack speed. It kind of forces out the oranges from GP. Otherwise, he's going to lose these trades. Or not win them as hard, I should say. And we see a big all-in here.
Do we see Vinny have W, or is he oh, he has Q.
He has Q and E right now, but he's still doing a lot of damage and probably going to force them back almost. And Mega Man's forcing Cryptic out of lane here.
Yeah, I think Tristana has one of the strongest level 2s for an AD carry if you do take your W.
E then W.
Because you can W in, get a slow, proc your E, and if it bursts, you can W again.
Yeah. I think his W is just her W is just so strong in the early game, where you can kind of just, especially onto something like Senna Nautilus, they don't have the big damage to answer you. You jump in on that, and you can kind of have your way with, and you can dictate the pace of the lane. And we see the W landing here,
and especially in a scenario where like the Nautilus opens up, uses his hook already, and then you get a counter hook. That's like a free kill if you do have your W, because the Nautilus would have to flash, but you're going to get your reset off and jump on him again.
Yeah, and they were far in that extent, and bot lane's nice long lane, gets the reset, pretty much is going to get the kill. Might have to go into tower, and that might be a little scary because Vinny's going to want to jump in again. So
well, as long as you jump in, get the kill, you can just jump right back out.
That's true, but he'll see that other character and be like, I have to jump in again. It worked so well.
Yep.
But
well, that's why you have the flash.
And the lantern.
Yeah, Vinny actually not leveling up W at all this game. Doesn't want to jump into the team. Decides
Pro strat.
It's better just to not have it leveled up.
He can't jump in if he can't jump. But yeah, we see mid lane going Syndra favored. I think it is Syndra favored. I'm interested to see if Cryptic buys Hex Drinker this game. I think it's okay. It's great if he doesn't have to or doesn't feel threatened enough to buy it, because he can get to his spike faster, especially because he's probably going to go for that Muramana build. But if he always has that option if he feels like I can't die if I fall too far behind. Syndra's kind of the solo damage threat. So if she gets ahead, it opens a window. So if Corki just wants to play safe, pick up that Hex Drinker. Will delay his spike a little bit, but I think they have the scaling advantage, so I don't think that is such a bad idea. But just some ping pong going back and forth with these minion waves. Not a whole lot of going on. Volibear wants to start this dragon.
I guess I didn't realize it before, but the CS difference in the bot lane is really big right now.
So not getting that solo kill is even bigger because that would have evened it out.
Yeah, and I guess the bot lane of EGL is giving up like 2 waves here just to get this early dragon.
When and they're on the scaling team, so you'd like to see them not forcing. I mean, he's gonna pick up.
I mean, getting the dragon for free is always good,
but yeah, he had to give up probably 6-7 creeps for it. Not the end of the world. We know Vindy is not like the super resource-hungry carry as other AD carries are. Some really are crazy about CS, miss some fights, miss some objectives for them, and we know Vindy, he doesn't mind. He'll give it up for those.
We see there Vindy does level up W, so
it's unlocked.
It's unlocked. We're ready for some gameplay now.
Yeah, we see Michael saying Infernal or Ocean Soul, so yeah, we're going to see no Cloud Souls this game. That's what we like to see.
I think if you are EGL here, you want the Ocean. You're going to want to be able to take the damage and then just not die, because there's so little damage on that team.
Yeah, so front heavy where if they survive the burst, then they'll just regen up and be able to win the fight. I actually think both those souls are good for PTC as well. If they get Ocean Soul, they can hold this 4v4 longer and allow Fiora to split push. And Fiora with
but with the Ocean Soul or with the Fire Soul though, for them, you're just gonna get. You're going to want this long-range Senna with her auto attack.
Yeah, it gives her extra
rapid fire, and then she'll just burst it down.
And she gets the extra damage from that. And because she doesn't build as much straight AD, it'll feel much better with that soul. So every little bit of AD goes.
We see the tier coming out for the Corki, and they're building it towards for the Senna. But I do like getting the pickaxe first. It lets you fight early game without
sacrificing too much, and with having lane priority. She's up almost 20 CS. If she goes that tier, she kind of plateaus her damage, and Triss can have that opportunity to jump in
a lot of
big
people,
minion wave.
A lot of people think you need to get the tier right away to start stacking it, but
so
as
bad.
like an AD carry, you don't really use your abilities all that often.
Oh, we see Gilio going for the solo kill here, and he just ults Fiora off the minion wave, so he's going to be building a big lead. He's already up 14 CS, and Megan Fox is going to have to TP back. Otherwise, he could push this in, and she could lose another full wave because it's not a cannon wave. So, yep, we see the TP on. And he might just look for a good exit trade here.
He's going to go.
As long as he doesn't die here. But Megan Foxy could get this.
Yep, he's got
Flash Q. Yeah. Oh, but he does.
He could have flashed.
He has.
There,
He still has flash, and we see Viz rage quitting after his top laner.
Yep. He's like, I'm out.
Actually, his top laner survived, so I do think that was a big misplay by Megan Foxy. I think if he flash Qs,
you're not gonna get the last point. You're gonna get flash Q, maybe not even get the kill. At least this
and
way.
that's where grass hurts. If that's Conqueror, he's dead. The extra AD.
I think if you're fleet footwork, if you have the movement speed.
Yeah, I still think the W there was not ideal. He could have flash Q'd, got another auto, and then W if he really had to finish him off. But yeah, and we see Viz reconnecting. Hey, he was clearing the jungle way too hard. He was going too hard on those minions. So Gilio does get back and probably gonna TP. Just a little bit of excitement.
Yeah.
They were just wet.
With no flash and Gangplank, though, maybe they're going to now look for a gank.
Yeah, really look to get this floor ahead.
The flash pillar.
Yeah, the flash pillar. Vinny doesn't take the lantern. He says, that I'm too good for that. And Pai hits the hook. That was a great hook and guarantees first blood onto Trist. Not sure why he didn't take the lantern, but it ended up working out. And we see there the problem with Senna, Trundle, Nautilus. They just didn't have damage to finish him off.
Yeah, flash pillar, and then the Thresh just flashes too, and all of a sudden he's in a perfectly fine spot under his tower.
And turns, lands the hook. The hook does most of the, or the tower does most of the damage for him. Triss just needed to land a couple auto attacks. And that might be the snowball that Triss needs. Now Triss, with the pickaxe first, that doesn't build into Storm Razor, does it? He's probably going for the Infinity Edge first.
Builds into Infinity Edge.
Okay, so not the Storm Razor first this game. Looking for more of the raw damage. So I think he could just jump in, especially right now. Tier pickaxe to BF pickaxe. If Thresh finds an opening, he can look to jump in and be a lot more aggressive now.
You could still look for the Storm Razor first if you want. It's just, if you have like 900 gold as Tristana, you don't really want to just get a crit cloak as your only item.
That's true.
And you could also, I guess you could buy the Kerchi's Shard or whatever it's called.
Yeah,
but
or boots.
It's just better to get the pickaxe and then just hold on to it because you're gonna get the Infinity Edge at least second.
Later. Yeah, definitely true. I'm not too experienced with AD carries.
I wonder how much gold he had. Maybe he could have bought a Muramana and be like, yeah, I'll go it too. Just have everyone go it.
All AD carries are building Muramana now. It drives me absolutely nuts when I see like Ashe with Muramana or. I mean, Sivir's not the worst, but it's still like.
Well, it's just one of the cheapest AD items in the game, and it gives like when it's fully stacked, it just gives like 80 attack damage, which is like insane gold value. And
with the new rune that gives you like a crap ton of mana, it just feels so much better. And never running out of mana feels cool as an AD carry.
It's fine as long as you actually complete the item and are not sitting on a tier for 15 minutes.
You have the uncompleted one as Elder Dragon spawning. And more trading in the top lane. Like I said, these guys are playing it a lot more aggressive than I would have thought. I really thought it was kind of just going to be bouncing waves back and forth. But Gangplank really playing it well and taking it to this Fiora. Once she hits, I thought she would start to be able to take over a little bit once she hit about level 6, 7. But with the Tiamat finished, she is not doing as much damage as she probably would like to. And we see the package come in onto
Trundle with no flash.
Yeah, he gets the ultimate onto Volibear, though, so he gets a lot of health back, and he's just dodging these fringe skill shots, walks around the GP ult, the Cannon Barrage, but we see Nautilus coming in. Corki caught out a little bit, and the kill going to go over to Mega Man, and that's huge because we talked about the Hex Drinker not coming in, going right towards the Muramana.
Yeah, well, it was just Corki going in, flashing in after this Trundle, trying to finish him off.
Yeah, but
when getting the kill sure feels good, but it's not necessarily your win con to get ahead, really. You just want to be able to stay alive.
He just can't get killed by Syndra in one
and then he has no W, no flash, gets caught out in their jungle on the way back out.
Yep, Nautilus had a great roam. He was a little late to the party, but he ended up getting Corki on the way out. So everyone lives for PTC and Cryptic going down, and he does finish the Muramana, which is good because that would have been real tragic if he didn't get the gold to finish it. Dies. It would have been a recipe for disaster.
Something else to mention is that Cryptic did go back and get a call on his first back, so he will be getting a little bit more gold in a little bit. So even though he is down like 10 CS or 20,
we
20
see a
CS
huge
now.
all in here, but not a lot of damage. But
it's no
Megan Foxy flashes for the last vital, but Gilio playing this very well.
Autos the turret.
He gets the kill. Oh! He
cues the turret, so there's no damage for the Gangplank. Oh.
And we see the lack of damage really coming in and being highlighted in a lot of these trades.
That is a feels bad man.
That's where you use target enemy champions only.
Yeah, I think the default key is the tilde button.
Yeah.
I think I'd change mine to C because
C
for
it's
champion.
Closer. Yeah, but we see Gilio. That's really big, and he's already up in CS. Fiora having to back off the failed dive. Megan Foxy doing the flash Q that trade, but still not having enough damage to finish him off, and he was like 10 health with the oranges, was able to survive, and then Trundle autoing the tower, gets the pop on the barrel so he gets the movement speed, and then just able to run around in happy feet and survive.
And the thing with Gangplank is, sure, if the Fiora gets ahead, it's going to be really bad, but when the Gangplank gets ahead in a lane, he's just going to poke you out.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to get your farm. And this lead's just going to snowball so fast now for this Gangplank.
And Fiora wants to scale to like 2 items and be even with Gangplank, but if Gangplank's ahead, she never can get to those 2 items.
I think the worst part about the dive is that the Fiora flash queued to try and finish him off and didn't get it. So now, with the wave being towards EGL's side, we can see the Volibear come up and really punish this Fiora for not having flash.
And then she's just out of the game if she dies again, like without getting creeps. Like she's on half an item. She's going for that Ravenous Hydra, but we see Pai stepping up a little bit, and this Syndra's getting kills. And as we've seen in a lot of your guys' game, when Syndra gets ahead, she can just take over games and make it really unfun for the enemy team. So
something you could do as Syndra is just, you know, use your ult, even if it's not going to get a kill, you just force them onto the lane, and they have to go back, which gives you even more CS, and it just extends your lead farther and farther.
Yeah, and just using your ult and then using the stun, you just get like 5 balls and you stun whoever you hit. And
but so the GP TP's bot lane to help their fight. They don't really get anything out of it, but this Fiora gets to farm like a whole wave.
Gets a full, gets the tower
as
gold,
well.
Gets golems, gets a bunch of waves, gets caught up. So she was down about close to 30 CS, closes that to 20, which still isn't great, but we do see Gilio pulling the deep freeze here, and this is kind of what you mentioned. Volibear should look to path top here and see what, if Fiora is going to go elsewhere, we could see Fiora go to the bot lane, but she's probably just going to die to Trist, Thresh, and this is a really awkward spot for the Fiora. As long as Gilio doesn't mess this up, which I think the freeze is broken.
Yeah, but it's going to slow push. It's going to be on his side of the map for a long time.
Yep.
And it's just, she's just going to get very little CS from here.
Maybe even look for her to get the Gromp, just to get some gold, because right now if they don't have any information on Volibear, I think he's walking over a ward right now, so she should feel safe to walk up now, but with zero vision of Volibear, she could not walk up to this with package coming up.
Yeah, but they do see that the Dragon's coming up, so they know that EGL is going to be looking for that.
Yep.
So
it's kind of a saving grace time for the Fiora. She can push up because she's betting that they're going to be down there, which they are, and they should be. But if she dies and GP can get this, or even poke her out and get some turret damage off, that would be very big for him. She does finish the Ravenous Hydra. This is an interesting point. They both have one completed item and tab eyes. I'm interested to see if she all-ins, if she would be able to win. She does have ult up. I'm not too sure if she would be able to, especially with GP ult going down here. But Fiora actually TPing down. And that was a lot of damage by the Senna ultimate. Finishes off Tristana, and then Syndra's able to kill, but we see Viz going in for the steal on the Dragon. It's like 2k health. Gangplank going to be getting a lot of gold here, but PTC fight back, get the Infernal Dragon, which is huge. And like we had said before, Infernal Dragon is so good on Senna, Syndra, and Fiora. When they don't have a lot of damage, it's going to really supplement them and help a lot. And these kills getting over onto Syndra is going to be huge because she can just kill Corki now.
But Gangplank is one of the actual best split pushes in the game because that true damage will shred through those turrets.
Yep, and he can proc his passive with his barrels. After last time, I'm not saying too much because he gets out. Fiora still doesn't have the flash.
It's the infernal map with the blast cone is there for him.
And he bails him out. The extra blast cones, they put him in the alcove for some sick alcove gameplay. Put him by Gromp. You can blast cone to blast cone to blast cone. It's very fun and interactive.
Blast cone across the whole map. No walking needed when you can just bounce around.
Yeah, who needs walking? Who needs a right click? But that's big that Gangplank doesn't die there. We do see him have a shutdown. He has 150 gold just from CSing, and that's only going to grow unless he dies to these golems, which I don't think he will.
He's probably got his stuff to do. He's fine.
It just makes me nervous when they pan over and they're low on jungle monsters. Like, don't do this. Don't die.
No one has ever died to minions. This game specifically.
This game. Last week.
Maybe last game.
I was just going to say, last week I think we saw someone die to Raptors in game. I haven't seen that for a while, but, you know, it happens.
I will say the third dragon is one of the most important dragons because if one team already has 2 and they get that third one, they're on soul point at like 15 minutes. So being able to delay that for PTC is
5 minutes,
really
and that's
important.
5 more minutes for Fiora to try and win this 1v1. And we see Gangplank going towards the Essence Reaver. I do like this build. The one problem I have with Gangplank, he is very good in the split push, but old Gangplank, like when he was first reworked, he felt so rewarding where if you hit a triple barrel, it did so much damage. Now I feel like it doesn't do as much damage. You have to work so much harder to do the same damage.
It's something I say a lot of is Gangplank isn't really a carry anymore.
Yeah.
He really just enables your carries to do stuff. He's kind of like the Senna as well, where he's going to burst someone down to like 50%, which allows your carries
to
along with your ultimate to chase them down and finish off the
or
fight.
just force them out of the fight and give you a winning. We see this Fiora, she's pretty strong. if she can get on to Triss, which she shouldn't be able to, but with the help of Trundle and Senna is able to, and they actually give the kill to Megan Fox.
And the flash Q from Nautilus.
And I tell you what, that feels so bad because that hitbox on Nautilus is so big, especially when you're max range. It's like, I hope it ends, and then it hooks onto you. And nothing really going down in response, and they're actually going to drop the Rift Herald. This is some much-needed side lane pressure for PTC. Opening these up so Fiora can get long extended lanes. Even though she is behind the Gangplank, she just got another kill. She's got 203. If she finishes Triforce at the same time he finishes Essence Reaver, I think the Ravenous Hydra Triforce build is actually going to be stronger in the side lane. So she'll be able to take them on. After that first dive, I'm not sure if she can finish it.
Yeah,
but
he can play really safe.
Yeah,
just clear waves.
And then they can just trade, which is probably favorable for the Gangplank if they just are bouncing waves back and forth.
Yeah, and it looks like PTC is like running away with this game, but like the gold is still really even. And
yeah,
the scaling
actually favored by EGL.
Yeah, and the EGL team does scale a lot better with the Gangplank and the Corki. We're gonna need like. PTC
and Triss scales
PTC really needs to play the map really effectively with these team comp.
I think in the next Infernal Dragon is going to be very important. Double Infernal on PTC gives them so much AD, so much bonuses, and if EGL gets it, that's going to put them on Soul Point for the Infernal Soul, which is one of the most powerful ones.
Yeah, we just are waiting for the Corki to finish the Triforce, finish his Muramana, and really start.
Yeah, it looks like he's still a decent ways away. He's just got to finish Phage and then get the extra 300, so it's about 1,200 gold off.
I think it's pretty close because he hasn't recalled in a while.
Yeah, but that has to be. And the Dragon's gonna be coming up in 2026. Yeah, and the Dragon's up in 20 seconds, so it's not gonna have the completed Triforce for this fight, which is huge.
And it looks like he doesn't have the package either.
Yeah,
Muramana
is finished though, and he gets Phage, but he's the 333 gold short for the Triforce, which is not good.
Yeah, we see the Fiora splitting top right now, so that bringing the Corki up.
Yeah, and Corki actually going to meet that, which makes a lot less damage in this team fight, because like we said, Corki's much better.
Yeah, Corki no Triforce, but he does have the Muramana.
Yeah, and we see Gangplank get one shot by a hook Senna R with some Syndra Q damage in there as well, and that was a huge, I think he wanted to hold on to his W, but he just died, and that Senna ultimate did so much damage. I was not whoa.
Yeah, I don't think
Hook flash.
I don't think that works on. Oh, they're trying to burst down the dragon.
Yeah, they really want the dragon. So Cryptic TP's in. He didn't get the Triforce. Even so, he TP'd right from top, and I think EGL are just panicking. They're just losing it.
I think EGL thinks that they're way farther behind than they actually are.
Yeah.
Like they got so much
still
gold
a gold lead.
Yeah. But with that last team fight, they're gonna, push down this wave, get another tower, and then start setting up for this Baron, and maybe start opening this up.
And now PTC is so strong if EGL have to run into him as not a 5-man unit. If it's just like Volibear running in, and Senna can poke, now that she's ahead. If they're behind and Volibear runs in, it's so much different than if PTC is ahead and can just like kite the Volibear. And the other carries. Like, ideally, if EGL is even or ahead, GP ults behind them, Volibear runs in, they don't really have a place to go. They just have to fight. But with PTC getting ahead, they can just kind of chill. They have Senna to heal up the carries if there is a little bit of poke going back and forth. And then Fiora can just get on the side lane. She's got to be close to finishing this Triforce. She is still very behind in CS. GP not being able to use his lead in that team fight. We saw him just walk in, get hooked, get one-tapped. But PTC's playing this very well to bring this game back, because for a while there, it looked like GP was going to run away with the side lane and take away PTC's main win con. So not sure where their game plan is going from this, though. I don't know if they have a clear idea.
EGL got like the first 3 kills of the game, didn't they? And it's just been all PTC since then.
Yeah. trying to think of like a good win con for EGL besides like obviously scaling, but it looks like they want to fight. So
yeah, I mean, so at this point you do have the Mermana and the Triforce on the Corki. You have your Triforce and your Essence Reaver on your Gangplank. Like you are pretty strong right now. So you can look for these fights.
Very close to finishing your second item.
Yeah.
We saw her go the Shiv last game.
And with the Senna not having her Mermana complete as well.
They're going to trade hooks here. Thresh taking a lot of damage. Nautilus actually ulting Thresh. Volibear walks in, gives him a love tap, and walks out. Yeah, very, very interesting team fight. GP actually ulting in, so Fiora is going to have the opening on the side lane. And this is kind of what PTC wants, to draw people away from the Fiora, let her get on the side lane, and now they can just go right back to the Baron, see how many answer Fiora. If it's just GP, hang out there. If more answer the Fiora, they can just go and do the Baron. So very well played and kind of bringing this game back. Megan Foxy actually misses the riposte on the barrel, but then a huge hook from Nautilus.
And the damage from the Cinder is just so much right now.
And it's amplified. She gets the Spellbinder, and she has a 10-stack Dark Seal. I'd like to see her get Medjai's, actually. It's pretty gold efficient. She is mainly their only damage in these team fights. She has 4 supports. Why not go for it? Or 3 supports protecting her. Go for it, and that's kind of like a game ender. If she gets to 25 stacks, it turns on at 10. So is that Super Thig's Nautilus?
It's looking a lot like it.
Yeah, and we see Fiora actually coming in. She gets hooked, and this is not her ideal position, but she gets a great flank and he is able to pop.
Does he land this hook? Okay, yeah, that's my Nautilus.
Yeah, he is playing very well. He's landing every hook. We saw Pi really run away with the game last game, but 2 shutdowns coming over for Tristana. He's jumping in.
And flashing out again.
Yeah, jumps in, flashes out because he's like, oh, wait, the super fed Syndra is still alive. And Trundle runs down Gangplank, and Gilio looking kind of lost. And that's kind of what I said before with the Gangplank. Whereas before, when Fresh After's rework, he felt much more like a carry. And now he's a little bit more of a supportive pick, but he feels like he should be a carry. And it's just a very weird play style to play in. Gilio kind of looking like he's trying to solo carry this game, but it's not the
It looked like they had a win condition where they, PTC messed up that tower dive, but then they kind of like threw it back by TPing bot lane, not really getting much, and letting the Fiora farm back, get that tower, and get that gold lead back.
Yeah, instead of pathing the Volibear up there after the dragon and just zoning Fiora off, because now we see Fiora, she's still down 20, but that gold lead is not growing. It's staying the same. So Fiora's maybe even ahead with the 9 KP.
All
she's
the towers
working,
that are
down. All the towers that are going down. She's working towards her Death's Dance, and she's getting to the point where no one can answer her split if needed, but they are just stomping these 5v5, so she doesn't even feel the need to split. Even on a subpar team fighting champion, she's providing a lot to the team, so she's
this
playing
Senna
very well.
is like putting in a lot of work, slowing people down, keeping the Fiora alive with her ult and her heals.
Yeah, and Black Cleaver is so good on her. Auto Q auto procs it fully for some reason because she's so good. I don't know. It provides all the stacks, and then Fiora is able to just shred. So we see the kind of the Hail Mary all in here, and we see AGL actually get the dragon. So that's going to be sole point. And in answer, Fiora is going to be
trying to end the game.
Yeah, end the game, and it gets on the Gangplank, but kind of gets scared off of it. But that's not the. If you go for it, you got to go for it. She's in the base. She ults. You kind of got to go for the kill,
so
and then
PTC is running straight to Baron.
Yeah, and it's gonna be
without the Fiora like keeping him distracted in the base. EGL should be able to get here in time.
Yeah, and Volibear still has his ultimate, so he can get in the pit, and has flash, and it's a 4v4. You don't have your top laner, they don't have their support, and as well as Pi look, but Gilio's just gonna face check, and Mega Man Zero is just popping off, and we see him finish the Medjai's, and he's doing too much damage.
They should be able to just run this mid. They got the wave.
And after Megan Foxy got the inhib and opened it up, but got kind of mixed emotions for finishing the game. Ends up working out thanks to Mega Man Zero being super fed and one-tapping Vindy and Gilio. So looks like we're going to have a game 3. And like we said, it's going to be a for second place and a place for playing in the finals. So very big game 3 and very interesting draft this round. Not as clean as the first draft. I thought the first drafts were very good and very interesting. This one was a little bit more hodgepodge, but still a great game. PTC looked like they were going to be just shut out and EGL was going to run away with it, but played really well in the mid game and out microed and macroed EGL in that game. So interested to see how the game 3 goes. Both times blue side has won, so EGL going to be going back to blue side, I assume, and see how that affects.
Hopefully they don't go mental boom and just
lock in Urgot mid or something crazy. I think the Syndra pick was huge. We didn't see it do too much in game 1, but
then again, you can't really do much into the
Cho'Gath.
Yeah.
So keep Cho'Gath on the bans. Syndra's a priority pick. She's been the best mid laner since this circuit has started, in my opinion, just because she's so flexible as a champion and can one-tap people. So keep your eye out for which team gets Syndra, and hopefully EGL don't lock in Urgot, and we will see you in like 5 minutes.
B&H, how can I help you?
B&H is here, from our homes to yours, as your
All right, we're back for game number 3. Battle for second place, potentially. EGL going to be on the blue side, so we've seen blue side be undefeated so far in this set. See if it continues. And everyone's hyping up Urgot. I am anti-Urgot, so...
I mean, it could do some work.
Into Syndra, I am not a fan, so if it's worth trading Syndra, I don't think it's worth.
No, I think Syndra's not really as blind pickable as it used to be. There's definitely punishments for it, but it is still really safe and gets its job done pretty easily.
Safe, brings a lot. She's kind of the ideal control mage, so you think of Azir as other ones that fit a similar role, but she just brings the CC, whereas Azir brings conditional CC with his ultimate. It's just not as guaranteed as, well, Syndra's isn't guaranteed either because it's a skill shot, but it feels better to be able to just throw its stuns. But if we see Urgot, I will be surprised, we'll say that. You were saying Urgot rework is you were into it, or you don't like it? I liked old Urgot. Into it.
Michael or Burn Victim asked me, this was like 2 years ago, asked me to like help him with some like matchups in the mid lane, and so of course like the first couple of games were like perfectly fine, and then the final game I was like, all right, what do you want me to play this time? He's like, just pick whatever, and I picked Urgot mid, and beat him with it, and he was like, this is actually so oppressive. And then they picked it. And I think Bjergsen picked it like the following week. I was like, I told you, Michael.
You're a prophet.
I told you.
and I really liked old Urgot, even though he was useless. But his old ultimate was really cool. Brought some interesting dimensions to games. He was like a very good counter pick to certain champions. But new Urgot is a lot more interactive, and he's a much healthier champion, I think.
Recently they changed it where his W is now like a toggle once it's maxed. And so to like fully utilize the champion, your original auto attack still can go through. So you're supposed to like toggle it on and off whenever you can get a basic auto attack off, and it like triples your damage if you do that.
I would never have thought about that. I would hit W, kick back, relax, just right click around. So that probably boosts the skill ceiling of the champion a lot higher than what most people probably think. They think of Urgot as kind of like this hybrid range juggernaut that I really enjoyed playing him when he was jungle was really strong on Urgot when Conqueror was first introduced. He was very strong, so And now he's getting all these new skins, so you'd think they'd give him some love and some stats. So maybe I'll have to lock in Urgot later tonight and practice like toggling off my W and actually like playing the game.
It's just something you have to like keep in mind. Like, it's just like sit there and you're just regular auto attacking like the dummy or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you like in between auto attacks just have your W be going off.
On, and that's.
And you'll see that if you like test it out between just pressing W and having one that you're putting the auto attack in, it does like 3 times the damage.
Yeah, no, that's something to keep in mind.
For
all you Urgot lovers out there.
For all those people that think that Urgot's actually not that good, you're just too small brain for.
Yeah, you got to 5-head it.
The true Urgot mains.
Yeah, I just don't want to see it. That sounds like too much work. I can see Cryptic saying, "I told you it was good." Lock me into Syndra, but I think the Senna is also a great pick that really looked good last game.
Mm-hmm.
Like we said, it doesn't bring like the big flashy damage, but just being able to top off your teammates, keep them full health.
I mean,
day one lane
almost one shot the game plank at one point.
Yeah, with their ult, and they won lane. So Deadpool looked very comfortable on it, and the Nautilus play was amazing. We saw tons of max range hooks landing and really setting up those picks before Dragon, before Baron, etc. So.
Yep, a lot of Nautilus is just having the confidence to go in when you think you can and actually just making it work.
And landing the hook and then proccing Aftershock and all those stuff.
Landing the hook does it itself.
That's true. That's true.
Throw it.
You just have to throw the hook and close your eyes and throw it out there.
And then pray.
And if you see your character going in, so Corey needs to get in contact with a person who does laundry. My shirt's a little
yours is a little wrinkled, I guess.
Hey man,
it's fine.
Ironing is too much work. Look at me. I gotta play League and other games, so that's too much work. But his shirt is nice and ironed. Don't tell my girlfriend that; she'll be disappointed. But first pick, I wonder if the bans are gonna change. I think PTC can keep them pretty much the same. Get the Cho'Gath out of there since it was absolutely game-breaking in the first game.
I'd really like to see Caitlyn not get banned.
Yeah.
And so that we can really see if Vindy really does play it.
Yeah, and Malphite staying #1 ban.
They really don't want to play against this Yasuo.
Yeah, or just Malphite. They just hate Malphite. And we see Senna hitting the bans again.
And then probably a Phalios from EGL as well.
Yeah, so Caitlyn could be open, and we'll see if PTC wants to ban it.
Yep, it would. If Caitlyn is open, it's always blue side first pick.
So. But then Ezreal's going to be open if those are the 2 bans.
Yeah.
So they could kind of pick if they want to see Ezreal, if they want to see. So it's going to be Ezreal open, which is.
Yep.
I hate seeing Ezreal every game.
It's definitely not the most fun to watch for the bot lane.
Yeah, he's just so safe. He's like Triss, but better. Vayne counters Ezreal.
Yeah, so there's a new strat for Vayne that you go your Bork, your Ginsu's, and then you just go Randu and Zoman, and then the Ezreal doesn't actually have the damage to kill you.
If he doesn't go Triforce, if he goes
yeah, because he builds all these defensive items for himself that you can just outlive all his damage and then heal it back with the Bork. Yep. I mean, with my personal build for Vayne is just Bork into Phantom Dancer into full tank.
Okay. Yeah,
I definitely have some hot takes.
I was gonna say I'm not too sure, and we see the Syndra and the Trundle coming in. Again, we saw it work out last game despite being low on damage, but Trundle kind of says no to tanks, so picking it this early is much better because it influences the enemy draft by keeping him off those super tanks.
Yeah, it kind of forced Gilio into his game plan, which did look good at the beginning, but like we said, it's not really a true carry anymore.
Yeah, and it's very hard to execute mid to late game. Like I think the champion is incredibly difficult, and Hecarim coming back, we saw how great it looked. It's super good snowball champion. I think Hecarim is very good on this patch and very good at if you get a lead early and like right at his Triforce spike, he is so OP. Where he just runs over people and
with him running Ignite, so like a big thing of Trundle is he alt steals the resistance, but then
and
heals so much. But with that Ignite on your Hecarim, he can really look to punish this Trundle in the jungle.
And we saw Karma hovered. I think Karma is super, super oppressive on this patch, especially paired with someone like the Ezreal. But we see the Nautilus kind of just be a takeaway maybe from Big Lots and how good he looked. and the Alistar Hover. Those seem to be the two engaged supports that Big Lots is favoring. So interesting to not be the Leona.
So I think the biggest thing here is like you see them already picking the Nautilus, Morgana being open. It really makes it where Nautilus can't do anything.
Yeah.
So the Nautilus hook, the ult, his passive, most of the things that he does, you're using on one person to catch them out. And Morgana just says, we're not going to let that happen.
And we see Sylas coming out. That was the big counter pick not to Alistar, but on the opposite side, using that ultimate more efficiently than he does. Gets banned out. I think that's a great ban. I don't think Alistar can be picked with Sylas open for the enemy team, just with how oppressive that ultimate is. It kind of ignores who he's laning against.
And we're going to just see EGL banning more AD carries, really forcing Deadpool to pick something that's really not that good.
Yeah,
but who knows? We might see the Yasuo come out this game and put the Syndra in the bot
I was going
to
say, we saw them ban mid laners last time to force Mega Man onto the Syndra. Now going at a different approach and banning out Deadpool, maybe hoping he takes the Syndra, and then Mega Man grabs a different mid laner, an AD mid laner, but they could supplement their AD damage with the top lane, a big pick here, something like I was going to say Camille, but it's banned. Something along those lines where it's like mid to late game scaling. But oh my lord, Singed gets locked in.
I
didn't even know Megan Foxy played Singed
before. What is this?
So now they have a lot of AP.
Does Gilio play Darius?
I don't think you. I think anyone can play Darius, right? Because Singed gets absolutely stomped by Darius,
but do they know that? They should. You talked about it when
Alex played it.
I mean,
there's a lot of bad matchups for Singed because you have to. I
feel, but
you have to win lane, otherwise he feels so.
I think
useless.
Darius is actually really, really good for their team here too, because they really don't have
a lot of damage.
So much damage. They have a lot of people that want to like dive in.
And it's good into Trundle, but we see Shen, and that is counterpicking yourself.
Yeah, I feel like
Singed dumps Shen.
Yeah, I agree. Because if Shen's TPing, you can just throw your W.
And Yasuo comes in. So Singed kind of being the supplementary Malphite. Sorry to cut you off, but flip into Yasuo Alta if someone gets fed. Whew.
Or just the Alistar too is there.
Yeah. But
like we saw that the Yasuo pick was still there, even though, and so they're banning on these marksmen, forcing them to pick
almost baiting them into it. Like they had some big counter pick. I'm not sure Diana.
So it could have been
Yasuo
cool to see like them pick a Renekton here,
and then force the Yasuo
assuming that
come
it
out.
will be the Yasuo.
Yeah. And even if not putting the Renekton in the top lane, he doesn't have that many bad matchups.
Shen isn't even bad into Singed. It's just that
he's not bad, but he's not good. If you're getting the counter pick, you want
just like. When I think about it, the Singed doesn't really auto attack, so the W doesn't really do all that much, and you can interrupt his ult with
and
two of your abilities.
Yeah, and the W stops the taunt. So it's not like a huge counter pick, but it's picked into it. So like if he locked in Darius there, I don't think PTC have an answer to it. Trundle. Not a good early game answer to it. Singed, not an answer to it. Yasuo, not an answer to it. I don't think the Darius dies ever in laning phase, and he can just do whatever he wants and just go crazy.
I'm interested to see if anyone runs exhaust on EGL side for this Yasuo, saying, if we just do this, then you're only magic damage, and so maybe I don't know. And it'd be interesting.
Yeah, I think the team comps are very interesting. I mean, Singed is hyped, as always. Hopefully we see a little bit better showing than the last time we saw the Singed. And we just see some conversation about Darius. And that's just kind of what we meant. If Darius comes in here on EGL, I think they just win topside of map.
It's one of the hardest matchups for the Singed. You can't do anything about it.
And he's just so oppressive.
Especially if you run Ghost. You're just going to Ghost, slow him, auto him to death, land your Q, ult, and die.
And if Trundle comes, you 2v1 them, I think, if you land a good Q. But anyways, I'm interested to see Mega Man on Yasuo. He's one of the highest ranked players in the league.
And the Diana blind pick's pretty interesting here, too. I guess it wasn't blind. I guess he thought he was into the Syndra. I don't know.
Into Syndra, Diana is still a rough matchup, I would assume.
I'm not really the best Finn laner, but yeah, I don't think
because you get chunked out, and she is very good at going all in, which is weird with their comp.
With Orianna not being played or banned this whole set, it's kind of weird because it's been one of the strongest picks in like this circuit.
Yeah, and Mega Man's looked really good on the Orianna. We've seen him. I know in some scrims it's been banned a lot against him.
Cryptic was looking pretty good on it too during some of the scrims as well. So it was like a big power pick for both of these, and it didn't get banned or played at all. And I feel like the Diana and the Orianna do a bunch of the similar, like their ults are very similar. Yep. It's just Diana has to go in to do it while
Ori can do it
from range.
Yeah, and Ori has some good ball carriers in this. The Nautilus, Hecarim, Shen.
And then Azir would have been good.
Yeah.
But I guess you don't know you're into the Yasuo.
Yeah.
Although it was kind of hinted.
It was almost, I was going to say it was almost guaranteed. After we saw Lucian Ashe, what's the next meta AD carry? Would it have been Varus?
Yeah, no.
And that's just not.
Varus is not. Unfortunately, Varus, rest in peace, is not really an AD carry anymore.
Yeah, but
he's more like a caster minion.
They would have been like 7th, 8th priority AD carry pick. Like at that point, you're picking caster minions. You got Sivir.
Yeah.
I don't even know who you would pick.
There's the Vayne.
Vayne. Yep. So that's why the Yasuo was kind of guaranteed.
Yeah, and it seemed like EGL was like trying to force them into this Yasuo pick.
Yep.
So maybe Cryptic knows something that we don't about Diana
and
countering
just
Yasuo, but
dumps him. Could be. I know Diana does really good into like Kiana and other melee assassins. Yasuo is different because he like beats everyone for some reason.
Well, that shield is so effective.
Yeah,
he just gets it every.
And Windwall is very good. And we see Spirit Blossom Yasuo, so he got the new skin buff.
And we do see an exhaust from the Nautilus. Probably going to try and put that onto the Yasuo in late game team fights.
Yep. But Yasuo actually has exhaust too, so into the Diana. I'm not sure if that's like.
I think
swings the matchup. I
really
think,
underrated.
Yeah. Especially in solo lanes, I think it's very underrated.
And it really, it just limits how much damage you can do. And if you say a Diana lands a huge ult, and then you exhaust them because the damage is delayed, you can just really reduce all that damage you're taking.
Yeah, like 50% of the damage by a huge AoE ultimate, and then you can turn around and have Yasuo ult and one-shot their whole team. So, is this the first Yasuo we've seen in the circuit? I'm not sure. I think it might be.
It is. We've seen it in scrims, but not on the actual main stage. So this will be interesting to see.
Yeah, I'm interested in Yasuo. His brother coming to the Rift, so.
I guess another thing is Trundle Pillar does technically knock
him up. Yeah, that's why when I saw the Trundle pick and then Alistar was the pick 3, I was like, this is actually lining up to be a pretty good Yasuo game because Syndra has a knockup. Yasuo, Alistar, Trundle, Singed all have knockups.
Because we mentioned it last game too when they were picking all those champions. Yeah, where we were like, this could be a Syndra bot lane.
Yep. So we do traditionally see the Gragas as the jungler paired with Yasuo as like the ideal because you just throw the ultimate and then you automatically get the ultimate. Trundle's a little bit different where you have to hit him with the pillar, not just like the AoE, which is the slow, which usually is good enough, but for the knockup you actually have to hit him with it. But it's still
that's why you just run the like Alistar for the more guaranteed combo, just in case.
But in lane, it's still Trundle runs through river, just knocks him up, and you get the ultimate, and that's like 2.5 seconds, 3 seconds of CC with Yasuo and the pillar. So very good. And I'm interested to see Megan Foxy on the Singed, see if he's clean. He took Unsealed Spellbook. So really look to see him like switch over to the Ghost and make it useful. A lot of Singes, me included, take that and then never end up using it. Yeah. Where Conqueror gives you some like extra damage and lets you sustain and lane a little bit better and take some more advantageous trades. But if you use the Spellbook efficiently, it is very good because Ghost being buffed and we see a huge 2v2. PTC hits level 2, forces the flash out and heal out of Vindy, and we see Megan Foxy taking a trade, flipping without his poison on.
Vindy going for some poke, even though we should notice that like they're gonna hit level 2, and that's a lot of crowd control.
Yeah, Alistar, that's kind of where he is a caster minion until level 2, but then once he hits 2, he brings his full combo, and against a level 1 Ezreal who doesn't have E yet.
Yeah, the way I see Alistar, caster minion at level 1, melee minion at level 2, cannon minion at level 3. He gets all his CC. Now he's really there.
And then at 6 he's like a champion.
Yep. It's
yeah, he's very rough in the early stages of the game. Like,
but he does have some good impact in the late game.
Yeah, and like even in this game, if Diana jumps in, Alistar can just say nope and knock him out. I remember some like games way back when Diana was first released in international play, like Alistar would just get picked into him, and Deadpool, I don't know if he just he DC'd under tower, and I don't know if we have Chrono Break enabled, but he literally DC'd autoing Vindy.
Remake? Okay, so the whole team DC'd?
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, that is tragic because Cinder was just autoing him under tower, and he just like griefed first blood, and that's like an actual big L.
Let me see.
You could just do make it blind pick, so then we can just get right back into game with the same draft. Unless you want to do a redraft.
Let's just pretend like that whole draft never happened.
Yeah.
Just go through it again.
No, because I want to see the Singed and the Yasuo. That was too hype.
The Singed pick. No one could have seen it coming.
They're gonna ban it now.
Oh yeah, you have to do.
Tournament draft for pause.
Yeah, in case
right.
they do need to pause it again.
Good save, Risk It. I would have been the bad guy that made him blind pick to save time. I can already see that.
Right. Going through the draft doesn't take too long.
No, especially if they just lock like pick order, or like they could just lock their champions. Just ban no one, I guess, would be the fastest.
Well, knowing what all the bans are already, you just have them already typed out. It's pretty quick.
I don't even remember what they banned. It was like 580 carries.
Let's see. It was Aphelios.
Malphite,
Senna, Caitlyn,
Ash.
Ash was
that
in
was
the second half.
round. Yeah,
it was Caitlyn,
Swain.
Yep, and
it's Silas.
Silas.
See, we got this.
Yeah, we know. No, it was Caitlyn, not Silas. Silas was second phase?
Yep, Silas was second phase. You're right, because it was after the Alistar. Too smart. Vindy's in a game.
The last game was broken out and like bringing players back into it.
Oh, they made him reconnect. Ugh. Good old Riot client working as intended. Flawless. I really do get frustrated at the League client. It is pretty bad.
If you play like 4 games in a row, the client's so slow and laggy, you have to like reset it.
Yeah, you like get out of game. It's like reconnect the game. It's like, I just lost. Get me out of here.
I don't want to go back.
Don't make me load back in.
Give me a new game.
Yeah, it is long awaited for a new client that works extremely well. But
yeah, I mean they only made this one like 2 years ago or something. And like we fixed the client.
Bring back the old client. Again. The old client was so good. Also, I like how the spectator account. Calvin must have been playing on it. Iron 4.
It's only level 3. It can't even be ranked.
Oh, never mind.
No one's playing on that account.
So we're just kind of trying to figure out what is happening. Because I don't know. We've never had this happen.
Yeah, it seems like someone's not out of the game yet, so every time they reopen, or maybe it's like someone reopens, it gets forced back into the game, so then someone else closes.
Someone's holding it hostage.
Someone else reopens back into the game, and then you have to quit back out.
Vindy got first blood, and he's like, "What do you mean, guys? We're in this."
Guys, I'm winning. I'm getting tower. I got first turret. This is the easiest lane of my life.
Yeah, everyone seems to be gone. I'm just free pushing.
I'm up 40 CS.
Yeah, that's. Invite me? Okay. Yeah, so we just got to make sure all PTC and EGL are out of the game so we can make a remake. Maybe? I see Mega Man's offline. I'm just very confused.
Yeah, this is first time for everything, I guess.
Stalemate. But with those drafts, I actually really liked PTC's draft. I think they had advantageous lanes. Yasuo pick was very good, unless Diana dumps Yasuo, which I'm not sure.
Yeah,
because that could swing things.
I wonder what kind of build he's gonna go. If he's gonna go like the Nashor's Tooth with like all the auto attacks.
And like a side lane.
Yeah. Because I mean, he does have the TP to Yasuo's exhaust, so maybe he wants to get that side pressure.
Yeah.
And then TP to a lane, and they'll have this 1-3-1 comp with the Shen top, Diana bot lane, with the Ezreal staying safe mid lane.
Yeah, that would make it advantageous if Diana wins the 1v1 versus Yasuo. The thing I get nervous about is Yasuo just all-ins Diana with exhaust, kills her, and then he's in the side lane, and then they have to answer it. But they have the Shen ult. Could be, yeah, cool. And then the whole team comp is kind of built around the Yasuo. So if Yasuo falls behind,
Uh-oh.
no,
Riot
they're both
client.
in game.
What? The one was in game for like 10 seconds, one for 50. I don't know.
Uh-oh.
Riot, please.
Maybe we just have a 1v1. Mega Man versus Vindy. They're both in game. Captains 1v1 each other.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to go on a break while we figure this out. We will be back in
Who knows when.
soon. All right. Don't go anywhere.
We are pushing to end the game to make a restart possible. Like I said, Vindy's still in that game, trying to get that CS lead.
Buffing his stats. All right, we'll be right back. I haven't All right, so we're just rushing through Champ Select, getting back to where we were. We're just going to be doing a regular remake, no, like getting to the same point, because that would be very hard without Chrono Break and all that stuff. So we see Singe first. Oh, my God. Oh, I'm just kidding.
They picked Singe.
Yeah, we should just be running through this, getting right back in the game as soon as possible. We will have to wait for the 3-minute delay again and get back. Hopefully we have no more problems. It seemed like the whole PTC team DC'd, and then they couldn't leave the game. So then EGL had to run it down mid ARAM style, take the inhib, or take the Nexus, so they could all get freed. So, yeah, but we're free now, and hopefully we're going to have no more problems, because...
Yeah. I agree. I should have changed my shirt again, but I ran out of them. I only brought 3. I didn't expect to have to wear a 4th shirt. What is that?
He didn't change it for 2 weeks, so he's on a fresh week now, so he's good.
I did laundry yesterday, so I felt like I should, start wearing all my shirts today.
Right, you might as well use them up. Triton, the current matchup is 1-1. We had some problems with connectivity, so we're just remaking Game 3, and we're going to be going in...
Pi misclicked?
And they accidentally locked in the wrong champion. So
it looks like we're hopping back into draft pretty soon.
And we're going to be running it back. Someone DC'd in Champ Select? I am not sure.
Fresh pick instead of not Psy.
Oh. It's all right. We'll just run it back again. That was going pretty quick. Like to see the Champ Select fly by that fast regularly, but... hopefully we'll run it through.
EGL scripted. Shh.
EGL scripted.
They don't know that yet.
One less ban, yeah. We'll do one less ban this game.
Yeah, they don't get
the champ select's already done.
Oh,
but
unlucky. They have to wait in base for 5 seconds.
Vindy has to blow both the summoners.
I mean, he should. He wasted them for
level 1
for level
pressure.
1.
But I think
Pi said I literally asked them who I picked. It's going so well.
Yeah. Okay, so we have Gilio, Shen.
Wait, they banned Malphite first, not Senna, so I think we need to remake again, actually.
Remake.
The bans were in the wrong order.
Yeah, it's we'll allow it, I think, so we can get out of here.
I guess we can let him play.
I was scoping out my bed place in the studio, so I think I got under there. Claimed if we DC 3 more times, and might have to spend the night.
I'm just probably gonna pull an all-nighter.
We'll just.
There's plenty of games here.
I was gonna say we'll just spectate some players' games, and we'll just talk through them all night while we wait for these champ selects to go through.
Yeah, we're gonna be here all night just casting this one game.
So we see. Oh, Vindy's third pick. I was going to say mid lane has Ezreal this game. But it's Vindy. He's just in the wrong order.
I don't remember Anivia and Ari being banned.
I think they're just the first 2, so they're just running it down. Instead of banning no one, they're... All
right, let's see if they can get it right this time.
Nautilus.
And
then Alistar.
Hey. Just lock it in.
Hey. He had to make sure. Bring back PTC's ARAM replay. Yeah, that was quality content. They were winning a PT or a ARAM, and that was when we tried to run replays. But it happens. Now we're going to be getting into
actual gameplay.
I was going to say, wonder if their runes saved. Probably, so they shouldn't have to change that.
They are all just running like Dark Harvest.
Yeah,
like,
I was going to say. It's like switching back to the ARAM runes. Summoners and everything should say the same too. So we saw Exhaust on Yasuo, TP on Diana. Everything else pretty standard. I don't remember if there was Ignite on Hecarim. Probably.
It was. It was Ignite.
So Hecarim looking to snowball, get ahead. And honestly, Singed is not a bad lane for him to target down. With Megan Fox, he hasn't played it too much in solo queue, so we're wondering if he played it in scrims or anything like that. But if not, Singed is a very difficult champion where if you fall behind a lot, and you can kind of fall victim of getting camped. So, and this game is pretty important. Whoever wins has a chance at second place. If EGL wins, they guarantee second, and if PTC wins, they have to win the following week to get second.
So if PTC wins, EGL has to beat FN, and then it would be a tiebreaker.
Okay.
In between.
Yep.
So you'd have to play PTC again.
Yep. But if EGL wins, they guarantee second place.
Yep. Because even if they lose to FN, they will be tied.
And then have the tiebreaker.
But they would be 2-0 against PTC.
Gotcha.
So it would have the tiebreaker.
So yeah, this is a very important game. So we don't want any DCs to be deciding anything because that's not cool. And all eggs kind of in the Mega Man Zero basket with the Yasuo.
Well, he did pop off last game, so he's feeling it now.
He hard carried on the Syndra last game. They picked it early, switched it over to Deadpool to get him on the Yasuo, and then Diana's kind of the answer. I'm not too sure on her matchups. I know she beats Kiana, and other than that, I don't know much about her matchup. Yeah. So
I think it will probably be the Nashor's Tooth, where she'll split push, and then they can do this 1-3-1, where they just keep the Ezreal safe. Because without the Yasuo having TP, and I'm pretty sure Syndra had heal, so they had double summoners bot lane. So they only have the 1 TP on PTC side compared to, I guess, like the 3 globals. So if you count Shen,
3,
ult.
Yeah, Shen TP, Diana TP, Shen ult. Yeah, that's a pretty good strategy. And if Diana can get to that point where she can fight the Yasuo 1v1, they're gonna have to send more to her because she does have the global, and then that can really open up plays for PTC around or EGL around like the Baron or the Dragon, wherever opposite of where the Diana is fighting. So if you had to put your money on one, what draft do you like more?
I would probably put it on EGL's team comp because it's going to be really hard for the Yasuo to actually kill the Ezreal.
Yep.
He's going to be probably getting the Iceborne Gauntlet, the Death Dance, and then you also have a Shen TPing on top of it. And
Shen can block Yasuo Q with his...
Yeah, and while all that's happening, you're going to have this Diana split pushing the bot, like the bot lane. Diana's going to have a much easier time killing the Syndra, killing the Yasuo in these team fights. So yeah, I think the EGL's team comp does work a lot better here.
Yeah, I'm with you unless Yasuo gets crazy out of control. Mm-hmm. Or Megan Foxy gets ahead because they don't really have an answer to the Singed. If Hecarim and Shen can't kill him and he just runs around, he can just kind of like push in and get on the move, run to mid lane, put the W on Diana, flipper, Yasuo ults. Like that's something that can happen, but that the Singed has to be ahead and able to freely run around and do Singe things.
Because like a Singe that's really far behind doesn't really do much in a team fight. No. You're just gonna run in, get blown. Like we saw that on when Alex did. He ran in, flipped someone, and instantly
and then died. Yeah. And the build is very important too. It's a very good Rylai's game for the Singed. It's very good against all the champions besides Ezreal. Just think of running in a team fight, slowing Hecarim, slowing Shen, slowing Diana, really giving them the agency to get onto people and stuff like that. So the build is going to be very important. He is starting with Dark Seal, kind of a bait start in my opinion because you don't get the full benefit of the Corrupting Pot.
You do have the call start from the Ezreal. I don't remember. I guess I didn't look last time, but I don't know if he had that or not.
Yeah, I think he did. Which makes it even more punishing. But I think, like, once a game starts, they can do whatever they want. I think just runes, champ select, and everything should be the same.
We're not going to see Vindy run in level 1 to their level 2, burn both his sums.
Yeah, and so the start, Jig and Jag does get a ward here and is going to be able to recall and get his sweeper. Pretty much uncontested, and he's still rocking that cool Trundle skin.
Yeah, can you swap the Diana and the Ezreal on the scoreboard? Oh, it's already done?
Yep.
Oh.
Cool.
I'm slow.
Hey, I didn't notice it was swapped either. I was still thinking, using full brain power. So we see Shen actually put the sword up in the lane, and that's really important. A lot of people skip that step. But Singe just doing what Singe does and running around it, getting all hyphy. Ooh, he's got the passive. But yeah.
Having a Singe level 1, he just runs past everyone, gets a flip off, and then
is useless.
Loses lane.
And then is useless because he doesn't have his one ability at at level 1.
Yeah, but it's so funny to see him just. It
is because he gets so much move speed from the whole team. He's just such a cool champion. Everyone should play Singed.
I mean, I'd give it a try, but
don't do it.
It's so hard.
It's trap. He's not. He's fun.
I'm always there trying to fight people, and I don't think Singed can do that at level like 3.
I do too. I take these terrible trades, and then I get flamed.
I was saying I would try Singed support into like Thresh, where you just put your W on the lantern.
Yeah, or like W him if he lands a hook, he can't go in.
Yeah. Hey, I'm always looking for these weird counter picks, and I don't know.
He used to have the highest base auto in the game. Yeah, he used to. But not anymore.
80 Singed, let's go.
Yeah, and this mid lane is going to be where all the action is going to be. I think Hecarim and Trundle are going to be putting their tents up and going camping, and we'll see who is more efficient at it. The jungles have been a little bit more proactive this game than we've seen in past weeks, but Cryptic taking the trade in this big wave into the cannon minion, that's sometimes a dangerous thing to do, especially with these melee champions. Yeah. Megan Fox is taking a good trade into Gilio, but
out of mana already.
Yeah, out of mana. No corrupting pot means he's gonna be burning through this.
Misses the cannon. Oh, he gets it.
Saved.
Oof.
His cannon
That's
is
that
on
base
his team.
auto attack coming in clutch.
True. And Megan Fox, he really wants to push this into tower so he can get a recall, so he can actually get that corrupting pot to finish it or get mana regen. And we see the fight over the crab. Hecarim is a level up, but Mega Man Zero has lane prio, so see the importance of that.
Hecarim was able to smite the crab that time, but now they're both going to just run to the spot side crab, but Trundle's the one with the smite up now.
Yep, but Hecarim has ignite, and we see the very interesting interaction there. Hecarim E actually went through the tornado, so Yasuo got hit by it and took a decent chunk of damage, but he was knocked up by the Yasuo Q. So, and yeah, Megan Fox, he really just wanted a recall here, but he doesn't actually get the minion wave 2 tower, so he's going to lose a lot, and maybe have to even burn TP to get back, and that's really unfortunate. Singed is so good at pushing the wave early because of his AoE abilities.
Getting the Ruby Crystal as the first item is... How do you feel about that?
Interesting. He's going right for the Rylai. He's not getting Corrupting Pot. He's going to lose a lot of value off that Dark Seal by not getting the Corrupting Pot.
I feel like most often you would just go Corrupting Pot and then another Dark Seal right there, right?
Yeah. Or even just starting Corrupting Pot. If you want to rush towards the Rylai, you start the Corrupting Pot, you skip the Dark Seal, get the HP here. If that's the route you want to go. Maybe losing a little bit the shopkeeper.
You do see the Shen like just really out CSing the
and that's all off of the wave management there. He wasn't able to get the wave to bounce, so Shen was able just to hold the wave in a good position and just free farm. And we see Singed come back, take a mediocre trade, losing a lot of HP and having to pop those refillable potion charges right away.
The Doran shield is going to be so much like base regen that he doesn't mind taking these like short trades.
Yeah, and as long as he's not getting ganked or anything, Gilio's in a really good position to just balloon this.
Especially
lead.
with the wave where he has it right now.
He's got the
You
breeze.
can see the Hecarim coming up.
Yep, and this is what they need to do. They need to burn the summoners on the Singed and then just get Shen in the position where he can just win the lane. If he picks up a little bit of MR, it's going to go a long way in this matchup. So, and we see Hecarim pinging that he's going in. Shen holding the freeze, maybe fighting for it, and we see the taunt miss, and that's big.
Yeah, but with even just having the pressure of the Hecarim up here, he's gotten like 6 CS since he got back to lane compared to like the 20 from Shen.
Yeah, but we see the answer here. PTC able to get the dragon in response to Hecarim showing top, and even though Singed is losing down here, he doesn't have any mana because he doesn't have the Corrupting Pot to regen that. They get the dragon on the other side, so as long as he's not falling super far behind, which he should pick up most of this wave, the last hitting on Singed is an art.
Yeah, Until you get like Leandre's.
Yeah, unless and then it just does the whole wave. But this is a good position. He should look to try to hold this wave here, not push it through.
Yeah, but being out of mana, it's also kind of risky.
Yeah.
Just being here.
But if he can get the flip just like that, you get the flash for free. That's kind of a good position to hold the wave with mana, ideally. But now he's just using his Q for nothing.
We're just going to see the Hecarim started.
Yeah, and Diana's actually here, and they donate First Blood to Diana, and that's a huge pickup because, like we said, Diana being able to fight this Yasuo is so important in the side lane with Yasuo having exhaust. If Diana can get a little bit ahead and win these side lanes, she's going to run away with this game and become unkillable. She does have the HP crystal.
Probably,
I don't know if it's going to be Rod of Ages.
Most likely. I guess it could be a mask, but
yeah, we see it go to Catalyst, so going to be Rod. Going for the scaling and the HP to help fight the Yasuo.
Yeah. Well, so you eat the Rod of Ages, so you have the health, and then you get the Nashers too, so that your auto attacks are just going to be doing so much.
Yeah, so you're kind of like an off tank almost
and
with
then
that big HP.
I think the next item in that build is like a Lich Bane.
Okay, so you're really just looking to kill the towers and win the side lane.
If you want to take towers, you'll win these auto attack trades against a lot of characters. I don't know if you win it against the Yasuo with exhaust.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, but they also have the Shen to come in on top and help with that, so the biggest thing. And we see Vindy weaving these Qs in, out of mana, just has the calls still, and that's in the Lost Chapter on the Syndra. So Syndra pretty strong right now. Going to be able to get this bot lane prio and just push the wave in very efficiently. She kind of does the same thing in bot lane as she does in mid. She kind of just controls the wave really well and has good wave clear, sets up good ganks, all the same stuff. So
we see the Yasuo, or the Ezreal getting his tier, getting his Sheen. So he's gonna be able to, he's like the only AD carrier that should be building tier at some pretty early because he actually does stack it with his abilities.
Yep.
I still think that going tier first is not as good, but as long as you're getting it with at least one damage item.
Yeah, if you backs and just gets the tier, he feels so bad versus going back and getting the Sheen plus the tier makes it salvageable because he's gonna be able to fire back at the Syndra. Sure, she hits super hard right now, but if he just gets the tier and like boots or something, it just feels awful.
He's just gonna outrange the Syndra, poke her down with these Qs, and then eventually they'll be able to fight her.
Yep. Yeah, or just farm. I mean, they're totally fine just farming, letting this Diana do her thing, and getting to the point where she can side lane and they can get to that 1v1-3-1. And with Ezreal, he's probably the premier 1-3-1 AD carry in the mid lane, being so mobile. And having the long-range poke, being able to really bring the damage and not get one shot. So kind of just ping pong we're going to be seeing. And we see Shen
barely getting his E off right before the W comes out.
Yeah, that's a tough flip.
I was talking with people about the Singe where you can flip and then put your W down.
Yep.
And I think it is possible to put the W down after you flip and still get the root.
Yeah.
It's just like
it's super tough.
Like a 3-frame window or something. It's like.
And we see a counter gank. We saw mid lane drop, Yasuo die, but Trundle gonna pick up the kill in response. Jig and Jag taking down Shen, but the only difference is Rift Herald's gonna come down for EGL, giving a lot of this gold over to the Diana. She's getting these plates. Hecarim did pick up the kill, and he looks really cool with the skin. Might as well give it to him. So. And like we said, he's such a good snowballing champion, but we see, once again, just like we saw in game number 1, going for the Cinderhulk first, not rushing for the Triforce, which is interesting. So
I guess he just wants the survivability early so he can go for these tower dives.
Yep.
And so it makes more sense here, but in game 1, he was just kind of farming and keeping it up.
Yeah. And he has the damage from Diana, so he can go tank. He doesn't need the full glass cannon this game, but I still like to see the damage because you can kind of enforce your power on the game. And we see Singe coming down for this dragon. Shen has ultimate, but no TP. And Singe doesn't have TP as well.
The Hecarim does have his Cinderhulk and Ninja Tap is completed for this fight, while the Trundle is sitting on just Chilling Smite.
Just Chilling Smite and Brown Bags. So
they're looking to fight this here because the jungle diff right now is going to be pretty big.
Yep, but Shen only has his ultimate to get in, so...
there is no ult from the Hecarim, but you just have the item difference is pretty big right now.
Yep, and look for a big a one-shot on someone with Yasuo. If he's able to get onto Ezreal, But we see Diana go in a huge ultimate with the Shen ult on top of him, and we see Hecarim steal the dragon. Extended fight, EGL ends up on top with a 3-for-1. We saw Diana go in and do exactly what she was picked for. Bring them all in with their ultimate with the Shen on top, and Vindy just raining down Qs and autos from the backline to reinforce that. But Diana was able to get in there. I don't know if Alistar tried to knock her out, and then Hecarim was able to steal the ultimate. I don't know if he just ran in there. He didn't ultimate, so.
He didn't have the ultimate, but he was in the Dragon Pit the whole time, and he just kind of focused that while there was a whole team fight going on.
Gotcha.
And then Trundle came in. Someone smited it down to like 40 HP. And then Hecarim ended up getting it. I don't know if it was W or
Q or something, yeah. And we see Megan Foxy looking for the flip under tower onto his W, but you know, if you throw the W down and then try to flip, they kind of know what's coming. That's why it's so difficult to do. Nice.
But that was Diana being able to finish that Roa by like 11 minutes is really big. She's going to have that stacked really early in on this game.
And we see Singed popping the ghost, going in for this, but he has no mana to do anything. So he just was running fast. It looked fun.
When he popped his ult, so he'd be getting the mana regen.
Yeah.
He just couldn't get in range to get the flip back off.
Yeah, until he didn't have enough mana to do the flip right away. He had to wait for the ult to, do some But he got the Shen Flash. That's probably worth in the scheme of things because he does have Spellbook, so that was a borrowed ghost.
Yeah, but we could see the Hecarim coming in on this. Misses the ult, but they should still be able to get him.
But he gets the knockback into the Diana, and we see Diana just absolutely running away with this. And maybe this is the counter pick. That's why they wanted to bait PTC into the Yasuo pick because they had the answer. And Diana looking really good. 3-1-3 with just the Rod of Ages. It's only going to get worse from here. And we see Hecarim just absolutely camping Yasuo. And that's the one thing with Yasuo. If he falls super far behind, sure, he has the 0-10-0 power spike, but getting there is a lot of flame. So
yeah. But he's a third of the way there. So.
Yeah, he's a third of the way there, and he has a team to enable him. So as long as he doesn't fall super far behind, you see him even in CS. Sure, he's down a couple kills, but he's not like down 20 CS, down 3 levels. So just down 1 level. He's not. You
actually see Vindy finishing his Trinity Force before the Manamune. So he is really strong right now, but it will delay his Manamune getting.
Yeah, you usually want to see the Manamune finished by the 3rd dragon, and that's like a really good game for the Ezreal.
But with how they are playing right now, with this huge lead on this Diana, it does make sense to try and get this early, really early power spike.
Yeah, he power spikes super hard at 2 items, but also at Trinity Force he spikes hard. So if they can just snowball this lead with the Diana and the Ezreal early building this way, they can kind of take this game over before PTC has a chance to even get a wombo combo off with the Alistar Yasuo.
And
so
Diana being able to just get this first tower really quickly.
Yeah, and she took the gank from Trundle, dodged the pillar, just kind of walked around. So
maybe that's the reason you picked the Diana is she threw her Q and it went around the wind wall.
Oh,
so it still hit the.
That's true. I didn't even think of that. And another kill being donated over to her. She is very, very strong, and we see EGL using this early Trinity Force buy very efficiently, actually going into the jungle, looking for a fight. They know that this power spike isn't going to last super long because he's going to have the Manamune fall off, and it's going to be a long time by the time he finishes it. So using it efficiently and getting some kills, getting some gold into the pockets while they are strong. And yeah, this is a good trade by Singed, but he took 5 auto attacks for free before that, so it's not super ideal, and Shen's chilling. He's not going to die.
This is Leandre's first, not the Rylai's.
Yeah, I feel like Rylai's is just so good against so many members. Imagine Diana trying to jump in, but she's slow and just out of range, and your Syndra's able to hit her, and you're able to set up so much more with the slow. So Yasuo actually coming in here to help stop the dive. And we see Alistar and Trundle following as well. So really just fighting for this tier 1. I think it's going to go down to the Rift Herald follow-up, but good reaction by PTC to save Singed from dying again. He is down 60 CS. Not ideal.
Yeah. Definitely not the greatest showcasing of Singed so far in the circuit.
Put me in, coach. Just kidding. But he's gonna be able to do what he's picked for. He runs and flips whoever's strong, mainly Diana, and Yasuo presses R. And we see the Stinger coming through. It looks like Gnasher Tooth is going to be the second item, like we kind of talked about. Very good in the side lanes, and her passive, doing AoE, clears very fast, and be able to win these side lanes and win the game from it.
Yeah, she's definitely one of the fastest, like, at taking turrets once she gets to late
Lich
game.
Bane, yeah.
Like, yeah.
And then Singed can W her in team fight, so she isn't able to get that big, but it has to be timed so well because they could just wait. So if it's timed correctly, she isn't going to be able to get the reset on her E. But it's going to have to play it really clean, and with one game of Singed on his solo queue match history, I'm not sure if he's got the familiarity with it. It's a very tough thing to interrupt stuff with if you're not very practiced on it, because it feels so broken, but it takes like 3 seconds. You're like, take this out, throw the slow down. It just feels very unfun.
Yeah. It's not something that you have to like more like predict than
plan it than just have it on the ready.
And this Diana is just be everywhere, taking everything.
I think they should
if
just
we look can we look at the gold? Probably like 2,000 gold lead, yeah. Two and a half
over
almost.
2,000 gold lead, and that's like most of EGL's gold is going into the Diana.
Yeah,
so
and like everyone else has like a 1,000 gold lead as well. So
yeah, across the board.
This Diana's just been able to get everyone on EGL ahead.
Yeah, and once you get that one lead, and they don't have a Syndra like they did last game, that's super fed to just answer, just press R and just take this out. The Syndra's keeping up, actually ahead in CS, but we don't see her picking up the kills the same way as they did last game.
Yeah, so we see Vindy go back, pick up his Man Immune. Yasuo's recalling, probably going to get his Phantom Dancer here.
Yep, which is a big power spike, but like we said, he is behind. He's going to be looking for that second crit item to really turn on the Infinity Edge, and then probably into the Death's Dance, and then see if he can fight the Diana in the side lane. But an 18-minute Man Immune is kind of interesting. Interesting. And Singe, you do not want this smoke. But, yeah, and that's the combo, the flip with Yasuo ult. But Diana is so strong right now. She just says, I don't even care. I have Conqueror, and Gilio picks up the kill. The Ezreal ult was actually very huge to make that closer. I thought Diana was going to go down, but with Conqueror, she survived so long. That was through exhaust and flash on Yasuo.
That's like the strength of the Roa. You have like 400 more HP than
a typical Diana, yeah. It feels like she's just so much tankier than looks like, and she turned it and got the kill on the Yasuo.
That was pretty much a 2v3 while Yasuo was also using his exhaust.
Yeah.
So that just shows how strong this Diana is right now. And now
with Yasuo didn't even get the shutdown.
Yep. So he didn't get any gold. The Diana gets to finish her Gnasher Tooth now. It's just gonna get worse and worse.
She's at 2 completed items to just a Phantom Dancer, so
yeah, and that was the Singed Flash E engage, so they can't do that for another 5 minutes.
Yeah, and Yasuo flashed in there and exhausted. It was a tragedy. And Shen didn't flash. Diana ended up flashing in place, which is kind of tragic, but it ended up working out. We can ignore that.
Yeah, it was just a misclick.
Fat finger. But Cryptic is in the power or in the seat, driver's seat to carry this game. This Diana is incredibly strong, and once Vindy gets to his Muramana, he's going to be doing some damage. He did delay it to get this lead, and they should look to get that their third dragon in a minute 39 put them one away from Soul. And Infernal Soul is very strong on Ezreal and Diana, so very good one for them to get to the point. So
the Triforce finishing up from the Hecarim as another big power spike. So can we see how much the tier is on Ezreal? Pretty close. So everyone is almost at their 2 power or item spike power, and
besides Yasuo.
Yep. So
which is who they're. Oh, on EGL.
On EGL side.
Gotcha,
so they can look to actually force a Baron fight as soon as that Muramana turns into Man Immune.
Yep.
Whatever the way it is.
Yeah.
And I know I said Lich Bane is really good on the Diana here, but another thing you could do is just the Zhonya's, just to make sure that when they do all engage on you, you can ult and then Zhonya's and just be safe.
Yeah, and if you don't die from that initial burst, like, you're probably all right to carry the whole fight.
But you also have like the Shen to do that for you as well. So I I would still think he would go for the Lich Bane.
Yeah, just to completely smash the side lane. And we saw how long she survived in the
Yeah.
2v3.
And the Lich Bane just makes it so your burst is so much faster and your tower pushes faster.
Yep. Yeah, I think the Lich Bane is the way I would be leaning, but both would be good. And we see just the power of the Nautilus going in. Diana just doing so much damage, and Hecarim running in, uses the E. But Alistar, we saw the value of his ultimate. He's so high. Shen kind of caught out on the side, zoning Yasuo and Singed. Yasuo didn't get to use his last breath at all in that whole team fight.
Yeah, he had the option to at the very end, landing it on 2, but he would just go in and then he doesn't. So he has the crit, but he doesn't have the damage to back it off.
Yeah, and we see him actually get a pick on the Diana. Was really greedy getting this Gromp, and
unfortunately the Singed gets it. You really need to get this gold on your Yasuo.
Yeah, he's your carry.
Damage.
And you have all your champions picked for the Yasuo, and Megan Foxy is probably going to get the flip here, and this is going to be another kill donated over. Donated over to PTC, and Singed is on a rampage. 4-1-2. Let's go. We just had to crap talk the Singed performances.
Yeah.
He's down only 29 CS now. He was down 60. 4 kills. He's probably going to go back, finish Rylai's, and now this Singed is scary. He wasn't scary before, but now he's going to be doing a lot, and if Diana doesn't focus him down, he can. There's not a whole lot of damage unless Diana's on him.
The Ezreal also is really strong at this point with his 2 items. He's going to be doing almost as much as the Diana.
Yeah, but as long as he doesn't die instantly, I think Singed will be able to get a lot of value in these team fights, especially once he gets his summoners up. He'll be able to just apply the slow to so many people and give PTC a chance, where before it was kind of hopeless.
Yeah, with all the gold lead that they have, they should really set up around this Baron and try and get it, and then try and get an in-hit before this next Dragon.
Yeah, so if you look even at the item power spikes we were kind of talking about before, Singed has 2 items, but everyone else on their team, Yasuo 1.5, Syndra just hit 2. So they kind of missed that window where they had the 2 items to 1 item to fight. Or they didn't miss it. They kind of just didn't.
Syndra does have 2, but Zhonya's isn't really the most powerful item that you have. It's like it's a really defensive item. So you still really don't have all that much damage on this PTC side.
So EGL still has like a little bit of an advantage, you know.
Yeah. You should look to send Cryptic bot lane like they're doing and TPing up to the Baron to finish that off.
Yeah, or just be in the area. But we see Trundle looking to scrap with this Hecarim. Everyone running around playing TDM instead of just leaving Diana down here. And if we see 4 of PTC rotating, they could just start the Baron and say, we'll trade our fed Diana. She doesn't have shutdown anymore. We'll take the Baron.
Yeah. So they have to send so many people to deal with the Diana that they have to either let them have the Baron or they have to try and force the Diana off. Otherwise, if they go to stop the Baron, Diana's just going to get a turret for free. Yeah,
and they don't have any TPs to answer, so they could really play around the Diana in the bot lane, but we see it not used as efficiently as it could be. The one person who could maybe lane against the Diana is the Singed with all those kills he got, but he doesn't pick up any defensive stats.
Yeah.
So on Singed, I always like to get, like, if I'm laning against AD, 1 AD tank item, so like a Bramble Vest or Negatron, and then build into your core AP, because then you can side lane a lot more efficiently.
The Bramble Vest would be super good here too, because you have the Conqueror on both on the Ezreal, the Diana, and
the
Hecarim.
So it's going to be a lot of
on the Shen.
Yep.
It would be really nice to see some Grievous Wounds, somebody on their team.
Yeah, and that would just help the side lane answer that much more, because Singed is going to be their TP that can answer Diana, maybe answer Diana without dying.
Yeah. So it looks like EGL just kind of wants to like wait for this next Dragon and have that be what they're fighting for, but I feel like they should be forcing this Baron first.
Yeah, they're kind of just letting PTC hang around and giving the opportunity for them to find a pick. They have the much more pick-oriented comp with the Trundle, Yasuo, Syndra. So if they're able to find like a kill on the Shen and then before Dragon spawn, so they got a minute, they have a minute where Trundle can come up here, bring the fight to the global of Shen, kill him, and then they fight 4v5 or at least get control of the dragon area. Would be very, very good play by PTC. But we see Diana actually going all in, and we see that play over on the other side where they are going towards the global. They should have the kill here easily on the Shen. And as long as on the other side, and we actually see PTC getting 2 picks, Yasuo does go down to Hecarim, but
they're gonna catch the Alistar here.
Yeah, they're gonna catch the Alistar, and he does have ultimate, so he can buy a lot of time. And Syndra's on her way down, and he just pops his ultimate, and they should be able to get the inside track on this dragon that's going to be coming up in 20 seconds. Shen will be up with ultimate, but Ezreal will have to walk from base. They'll be spawning right around the same time, but kind of turned into a little bit of fiesta here. EGL had that big window where they could have, and we see the Nautilus hook actually looked like it went through the pillar there. That was very weird.
I think he threw so the hook went past the pillar before
it came up. Yeah, that would have been a very good pick if they got that. They still will. Shen has ultimate and TP, and Diana is in the back line with the Shen, so they kind of got the submarine, and that's the reason Shen was picked here.
Stopwatch,
and she is
use it still.
And she's doing
super safe here.
Yeah. And we see Yasuo come in and get the ultimate onto her into the Syndra ultimate.
But the whole time, the Hecarim is just doing the dragon. So Hecarim might clean this up.
Yeah, he has a lot of damage still, but we see him.
So he's he has no way to get back in.
Yeah, and they got the dragon. Why keep fighting when he could have got the kill? But it was a little scary. Like if it goes the wrong way, they could lose Baron and lose a lot of tempo. Where they just got a huge Dragon Soul, and now they can kind of just play the way we've been wanting them, side laning a little bit.
Yeah.
They've gone away from it. So
I really want them to start pushing for this Baron, because on the blue, so I guess maybe no one pays attention, but like it's a lot safer for the blue side to do the Baron, because the
exit, even start it,
because the exit to your jungle is right there. But like on the Dragon side, you have to walk all the way around like a wall to get out.
Yeah.
And so it's just safer for the blue side to go for the Baron, and it's safer for red side to go for dragons.
Yep, especially into like certain comps, because if you don't have a way over the wall, then you're kind of stopped, which we see like Singe doesn't, Yasuo doesn't have a reliable, Syndra, they don't have a reliable way over the wall into the Baron pit. So if they just even threaten it, PTC has to walk into them and take a fight. And if they do it around a good power spike, like Infernal Dragon Soul, they are probably going to win the fight. And they have item advantages on a lot of their carries. So if they just start this and say, you guys have to fight us, and they're probably going to win the fight because they have Infernal Soul, and they even have TP on Diana, so they can really spread this around. They can have Diana on bot side just pushing the wave, making them answer it with someone. So Singe does have TP now. He didn't for the last. If they would have done this 5 minutes ago, but they get the soul. They can still just hang around Baron, and if they send multiple to kill Cryptic on the Diana, they can just do Baron. So
we do see that the Syndra is now at 3 items. Did get a Void Staff. Yasuo just finished his second, so this is looking at for, like, if they're gonna go find a pick to do the Baron, this is PTC's time right now.
Yep. Yeah, and as someone was saying in Twitch chat, they're almost at the 0-10-0 power spike for Yasuo. That's when he really turns on. So realistically, one more item and Yasuo is gonna be as strong as Diana. So
yeah, but as I said, like, it's so hard for PTC to get to the Baron, and they don't know that they're actually doing it.
Yeah, they don't even have vision, and Singe is on this Diana, and she procs the...
Yeah, she just does so much damage with this
and he bought Righteous Glory second, so he has not a lot of resistances, and that's interesting pickup. Gargoyles is very good in this game. There's a lot of very good games, and especially with the Rylai's Leandries, he's still doing damage. You see a nice interrupt by the pillar, but I don't know if it's going to be able to...
like 8 minutes late, but they finally did it.
They get it 8 minutes later. And this Diana's doing exactly what she wants to be doing, side laning against someone with very little MR, and under no threat until they send multiple members. And they probably need Yasuo with exhaust there to take her down. Otherwise, it's going to be very difficult for them.
So we should
Yeah.
see. They should be setting up this 1-3-1, but we have the Diana just doing
golems and yeah. And even if with the whole team down here, they should at least have a 4-1 going on the top side.
So you must have just needed something to buy an item. But Void Staff?
Void Staff, which is a big pickup into...
Spirit Visage, Merc Treads. I still think the Lichbane should really be coming out here.
Yeah, that would have been a big pickup because they only have one big MR item, and she's not ideally hitting them anyways. She's ideally hitting this Yasuo. Yep, they're bringing the fight to the global. He blocks a lot with that W.
He's going to live for so long. They're going to get a tower mid, and Diana should get the tower bot lane as well.
Yeah, and start working on the inhib. And that's what PTC needed. They needed a pick, but it took so long for them to kill the Shen because of the dodge zone. And Yasuo's main damage being auto attacks, even his Q counting as an auto attack. Now they are really looking for this fight here, and they get the flash onto Ezreal. He throws the W, kind of spaghetti, but Ezreal going to go down. But Diana and Hecarim are on the inhib
for the end.
Yeah, and Hecarim just 100-0s the Syndra under tower.
That's one tower gone. They're going to end here.
They're going to end the game, and if she had Lichbane, the game's already over. And I think they just end the game. Diana just whacking the tower, and Hecarim has the Sheen proc, and he gets
a little bit.
And they get the back door, and that's what the power of Diana is. She wins the side lane, even without the Lichbane. Just imagine if that Void Staff was Lichbane. I don't even think they make it back to fight them.
She will go through those towers so fast with those, like with her attack speed and the Lichbane procs and her passive.
So Diana, like the premier mid lane Fiora almost, where Fiora melts TF and Diana do the same. They really melt the towers, and we see the damage charts here. Not even that much damage coming out. We see Singe topping the charts, but we saw Hecarim one-shot Syndra under tower there, and he only did 6,000 damage. So not a lot of like huge team fights, 5v5s, a lot of like small skirmishes, and it was just enough for EGL to come out on top. They really played the macro.
I think they really
at the end.
I guess they did outdraft the Yasuo. I guess the split push was too much for the Yasuo to get around. Not having the TP on him was too much.
And I think Diana was the counter pick that they were baiting him into, and then they just won on macro. Sure, it was a little bit
I think it was more the Hecarim just really going mid lane, getting this Diana ahead.
Yeah, and he got 3 kills on Diana. And the difference was Singed was picking up the kills for PTC, where Yasuo was getting assists, and Diana got all the gold funneled onto her. And she was able to really use the lead. So now with EGL winning, they have the tiebreaker, right? So they will be securing
2-0 against PTC.
They will be securing second place, correct?
I'm pretty sure, yes.
I think. So next week you guys play PTC.
We play EGL.
You play EGL.
And that's the final week.
So that's the final week, and will probably be the final matchup as long as we aren't really bad at...
unless I'm missing something.
Yeah, unless they're really bad. So it's kind of like a warm-up game. Are you guys got any spicy picks you're going to be playing, or you don't want to show too much for the finals? Or no leaks?
I don't think there's anything different except if they pick Callista. But
yeah, I was going to say, and we saw the Hecarim be very strong on this patch, the Diana be very strong. So you guys kind of, with securing the #1 seed, get a little bit of information into the finals. So with that, we see Risk is pretty jacked. With that, we're going to be heading out here. We had a little bit of exciting technical remakes and all that kind of stuff. So we'll be here next week, or tentatively 2 p.m. Sunday, with a fun matchup between the first and second place teams. And with that, have a good night, everyone. Thanks for joining me, Super Thing, and see you guys next week.
Excited to play next week.
Yeah, cheer them on. Now you can put